Aloha and welcome back, fellow beautiful, amazing, wizard-like creators within this holographic matrix. My name is Brendon. Thank you so much for joining us for another inspirational live broadcast presented here on behalf of Paradigm Shift Central, a community, a collective of creators helping assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. Thank you for being here. Thank you for adding your energy. Thank you for being in the live chat. Thank you for listening to the recordings. Thank you for just like connecting and allowing us to be able to cultivate this inspiration together so that we can share it further out into the world and into the matrix all around us. If you guys can hear me okay, for those of you tuned in live on YouTube, go ahead and click the link in, or go ahead and drop some 1111s in the chat. For those of you tuned in on Instagram and TikTok, click the link in my profile to be able to tune in on my YouTube right now. So again, if you're watching on TikTok, click the link in my profile to be able to tune in on YouTube for the official broadcast, and you can jump in there. So tonight's broadcast, following up on the momentum that we had from last week, tonight's broadcast is going to be focusing again on conscious creators of TikTok. So last week we began our broadcast it was all about how to start on TikTok, how to begin on TikTok. And that was following along the lines of me being fairly new to TikTok and having a lot of fun with it. And then also being able to create an opportunity for me to be able to share that excitement, to be able to invite some people onto the platform, and to be able to create this space where we're collectively using the platform as a tool to be able to share inspirational messages, to share heartfelt wisdom, to plant conscious seeds, to connect community, to be able to help lead people, to be way showers, to be vanguards for this collective shift in consciousness in the variety of epic and amazing ways that we do. So awesome. All right, so thank you again, everyone who is tuned into this, who is connected to this community, who is here in this moment. What we're going to do for this broadcast as we get things all set up and ready to go, I'm going to take the first few moments just to be able to browse through some specific TikToks and just be able to watch some together as a team, and then from there, and to celebrate them together. And then from there, we're actually going to bring on some fellow TikTok creators onto the broadcast to be able to just have some more conversation about the way about like how their experiences with the platform, how they are being able to reach new people, to build new community. And again, for those of you who aren't entirely familiar, TikTok as a platform is a platform that specifically focuses on videos, so only 60-second videos maximum. They're very graphically oriented, very playful, very creative, very kind of like instant attention grabbing. And with this platform, it also has like a new format of algorithm that really allows you to reach the people that you want to be able to reach, the people with the shared interests, the people who are going to be the ones who are going to want to connect further with your content. So again, as much as this is about building community, the core of that is about creating meaningful relationships, about creating relationships between yourself, between your audience, and again, for us to be able to show up as conscious creators in service, for us to be able to help share the inspiration. And inspiration is one of the most valuable resources that we have right now. So again, when it comes to the bigger picture of Paradigm Shift Central and this shift in consciousness, this project I began 10 years ago, and this is all about being able to create sacred digital space for us to come together and to collaborate and to celebrate as conscious creators and to be able to inspire one another. So by you listening to this broadcast, this is an opportunity for you to be able to tune into this and to just be like, whoa, like here's other people creating intentional content to be able to help assist with this awakening that is happening right now. How can I be a part of this too? How can I support? And maybe that's by you actively creating. Maybe it's simply by, again, you being here in the chat. It's all equally valid. It's all equally important. So I appreciate everybody again being here and joining in and just adding their energy and adding their support to the conversations that we are creating and building here tonight within the community. So again, for those of you who are perhaps new to this, feel free to check out more at ParadigmShiftCentral.com. If you're tuned into this in the recording on iTunes, feel free to even like make sure that you jump over to the YouTube at some point, since there will be kind of like a visual orientation to the content that we're sharing today, but you'll still be able to enjoy it simply by listening to the audio huge special thank you again to our Patreon supporters. Again, Patreon is where you can support the Paradigm Shift Central project with monthly micro contributions, and when you sign up there at the $11 a month or higher, you can also join as a leading member. And again, the leading member gives you the option to be able to join into like our private team chat, where we have collaborative space to be able to support each other as conscious media creators, and specifically our new TikTok channel within that, and also to be able to join onto these broadcasts as well, and also to be able to take part in collaborating with me as a conscious media creation coach to be able to help assist you in that process as well. So again, what we're going to do, I'm going to bring up my phone, and you guys are going to kind of like see on the side of my screen, and we're going to kind of scroll through stuff. This is going to be very synchronistic in its own way, and we're going to just kind of take a look and celebrate some of the variety of conscious content that is showing up on TikTok nowadays. And then from there, as we move a little bit later into the broadcast, we are going to be able to invite some of the fellow creators to be able to join in. So even for the creators right now, for the fellow leading members, if you want to join the Zoom link right now, go ahead and do that. You guys can go ahead and do that, and then that way so you're queued up, and then I will bring you into the broadcast as we go a little bit further into it together. So again, we're doing things, this is a little bit different. This is kind of like a new format that we're playing with here, so I appreciate everybody just being able to join us and kind of like the playful flexibility of what it is that we are creating here. So with that said, I'm ending the broadcast on Instagram. For those of you on Instagram, make sure you click the link to be able to tune in on my profile, and I'm going to be concluding the broadcast on TikTok in a little bit. But again, for those of you on TikTok, just giving you a few more moments to be able to click the link on my profile so that you can be able to join in there as well. And again, just confirming that you guys can hear me okay. So let me know in the chat if there's ever any sort of like issue with the audio or anything like that. Please feel free. You guys are going to be some of the first to be able to let me know. But in the meantime, as I'm just clicking a couple buttons here, just to be able to make sure that things are sounding okay. Cool, it's working. All right, okay, cool. All right, team, thank you again everyone so much for joining in. I'm sure we got a good handful of people who are here tonight, and some of them are again even like fellow TikTok creators. So if you guys want to drop your social media handles, you guys want to drop your TikTok channels into the chat, please feel free to do that. As we move through this broadcast, again, I'm just gonna kind of like I want to be able to bring on the other fellow leading members sooner rather than later. However, it's like I want to be able to do it in a way where like they're still being we're being able to talk about the content that we're watching together, but for them to be in the Zoom, they can't see the content at the same time, so there's like a bit of a delay. So it's like kind of the technology is kind of limited, but we're working with what we got here. So anyways, my TikTok is Mystic Spider-Man. You can go ahead and check it out there. I'm gonna do just like some button clicking here, and we're gonna bring some stuff up in the next couple moments, and then again we're gonna bring on some people within the Zoom call a little bit later as we roll through this. So just give me one more extra second here, as I just want to be able to get things all set up and ready to go. Okay, cool, sweet, we are ready to go. So thank you again everyone for joining us, and again, just kind of painting the bigger picture here, you know, like these synergy circles, the intention of these synergy circles is for us to be able to come together to support each other as dreamers awakening within this dream, as shifters, as people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness. And we're doing this in a variety of ways, and the process of doing it through the creation of media content is one of the most powerful ways that we can do that, because through media it gives us the opportunity to deliver a story, to be able to plant a seed, to be able to convey a message, to be a mirror for other people to see more of themselves, for them to be able to like find a meaningful connection, and also to be able to bring in a variety of tones. You know, we can bring in this playfulness, we can bring in this stoicness, we can bring in the sleekness, we can even bring in like the cuteness, whatever it is that we want to be able to play with. And again, through TikTok, it's a powerful way for us to be able to utilize the algorithms to be able to like synchronistically help more people connect to our work, and for them to ultimately be able to consciously and unconsciously give themselves permission to start expressing more of what it is that they're passionate about when it comes to their personal awakening, when it comes to their own exploration of spirituality and artistic expressions, as a basic example. So within my TikTok, again, as I just kind of like bring this up on screen, you can see here, this is my TikTok as Mystic Spider-Man. Again, for those of you who were here last week, I kind of showed you a variety of the things that I was doing. Here's a new one that I'm going to show you real quick, and I'm just going to show you like a couple off my profile, and then we're going to jump around, and I'm literally just like, I've got like, that's kind of the beauty of what's been happening over the past couple weeks, is that I've been finding so many fellow conscious creators on TikTok, and I've been reaching out to them, and there's actually like at least like 4 or 5 of them that wanted to be on the broadcast tonight but just had other plans come up. So you're going to be able to get to meet them in the near future, but we're going to feature some of their content on the broadcast tonight. Some of the people that we're going to have onto the Zoom call tonight, onto the air, brought onto the broadcast, is going to be Marbella, and also Brianna is going to be joining us here, and I think I always butcher his name. Obvious. I'll show you his content. I think they're going to be joining, and I think Spencer's going to be joining again as well, and Hannah sends her regards. She was here last week. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of like take a moment here while doing my best to be able to keep an eye on all the chat. So I appreciate everybody just leaving their comments, and again, at this point, let's just have fun kind of browsing TikTok together. There's going to be some synchronicities. I'm going to introduce you to some creators who I would recommend getting to connect with. We're going to talk about some creators who are literally like here in the community. For example, One Love Free. One Love Free is one of the people that I'm going to feature in tonight's broadcast, and they actually started their TikTok because we inspired them last week. There's multiple people, even Kevin Bulmer, who is here, my good friend Kevin Bulmer, he was inspired to start on TikTok because of us doing this as well. So we'll feature a little bit of Kevin on here as well. So again, stand by. We're just going to make sure that this is running okay. So I'm just going to bring up a little example of one of the things that I created since the last broadcast. So just making sure the audio is okay. And yeah, this should work. Okay, so here's another one of my like energy Reiki healing videos. So this was one that I felt really called to make this one. Again, kind of like really taking the time to meditate on like what is needed for the community right now. So here's one that I did, and if you saw the text at the beginning, it basically said this video is encoded with frequencies and energy and intention to help balance the heart chakra. So obviously, like, this is creatively done using some third-party editing apps, Video Leap and Wurble, something I talked about in the last broadcast, and I edited it together, and I kind of like add some additional filters. And again, this video, it's gotten a pretty good reach, almost 1,000 likes. But again, there's been people who have left comments on it who are generally just like, yo, like this was like really like exactly what I needed in this moment. This was really helpful for me to be able to receive in this moment. And so again, this type of video is something that I would honestly encourage other conscious creators to play with. You know, practice making eye contact in your videos and do something as simple as like some sort of like meaningful connection. It doesn't even have to be a Reiki connection. You know, I could see like something like Kevin who, you know, he kind of has his own style, his own niche. Kevin, I could easily see you doing a video where it's just kind of like you just like talking about the importance of like eye contact and meaningful connection. So it doesn't even have to be like super spiritual to still be able to create a video of this magnitude. And there have been people who have like tuned into this, and when they watch it, they're just like, yo, like I felt like there was like a telepathic communication between myself and your eyes, like just by watching this. So again, if you just kind of like look at some of the comments here, yeah, you can see there's a comment. Oh, actually the comment is from Marbella. And it says, I was looking into your eyes and receiving. I could pick up the telepathic messages you were sending. And then again, like, so I saw Marbella leave that comment. That kind of led me to their profile. And then that connected me to reaching out. And they're going to be joining us on the broadcast tonight. We're going to be featuring them as well. You can see other comments here. It said, this made my whole body tingle. Love this. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Thank you. Thanks a million. Thanks. This felt good. So again, all of those kind of comments really just kind of reiterating how meaningful something like this was. And again, that's kind of why creating something like that is so powerful, because again, you know, like the reason why we're creating content, it's not just like, oh, we're trying to get TikTok famous. And I kind of made like a little I'll show you the video that I did that kind of like plays on the joke on this. But again, you know, this is about being able to like help people, to be able to assist people, to be able to create media medicine. Media medicine is actually a very powerful phrase that I think a lot of people will resonate with, because again, like it's the medicine of our presence, it's the medicine of our message. So making media medicine is a very powerful way to be able to think about how to approach your content. A reminder again, for those of you on TikTok who are tuned in, like I'm broadcasting on TikTok right now, obviously, right? Click the link in my profile to tune in on my YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now, so if you're watching on TikTok, you're missing half the broadcast, so tune in there. So I'm going to show you, again, just a few more of my own, and then we're going to jump over to some other creators. This was a funny one that I'm just going to let play out because this is kind of like skit comedy. Some of you have already seen this. But again, this was just kind of like something where I thought of the idea, and before I convinced myself not to do it, because I'm like, oh, that's a stupid idea, I'm just like, screw this, I'm going to do it. And then it was like literally just like I filmed it in like, I don't know, like less than 10 minutes, give or take. It was only a couple tries. And again, with this one, it's the one on you can see it. It's called The Secret of Immortality. Some of you have already seen this, but it's basically, it has nothing to do with that. And even just kind of making this one for me was also very deja vu-ish. Like even just now kind of looking at it, I'm like, I swear I made that like, you know, 1,000 years ago or something like that, maybe, right? But anyways, this style of format that I do here, where it's like me talking to myself, this is very popular and very common on TikTok. Marbella actually does this as well, and I'm going to show some content from Marbella. And again, like this format is something that like a lot of people can do. When you want to do it, you want to make sure that you're not breaking the rule of halves, or that's not the proper term, but basically like when you're doing it, make sure that the people are on opposite sides of the frame. Sometimes people do it where the people are on the same side of the frames and visually it just looks broken. So make sure that when you're doing it, you're kind of filming it and you're compositing it. That's like part of the learning curve. So anyways, I'm just going to play this here and you guys can just kind of, again, maybe some people haven't seen this. I feel most of you have seen this, but we'll just kind of talk about this and you guys can kind of like laugh about it together. So here's this one. Again, on the preview, it says The Secret of Immortality, but go ahead and watch anyways.
And that, my friends, is the secret to immortality. Hey dude, what you up to? Hey man, I'm just playing some TikTok. Playing TikTok? I don't think TikTok's a game, it's just a social media network. No, I'm pretty sure it's a game. Oh, and so how do you win? By becoming TikTok famous? No man, that's just superficial. The real idea behind the game is that I'm actually a time-traveling techno-shaman wizard who has been sent backwards in time to be able to help create inspirational conscious content to plant and nurture seeds within the heart of those who synchronistically happen to tune into this video, and then help them awaken within their own spiritual journey to their potential as creators within this shared dream reality, thus helping birth the best possible reality for the future generations to come. Oh. So are you winning? Do gnomes shit in the woods? Yes. You're damn right they do.
So stupid. I'll ask you guys, do gnomes shit in the woods? Drop an 1111 if you think gnomes shit in the woods. Again, like that whole line of gnome shit in the woods, that was like literally just on the spot. I'm just like, again, I don't know, that's just like my style of humor. It's like goofy and stuff like that. And again, before I kind of convince myself not to do it, I'm just like, whatever, just film it, just do it anyways, get it out there. So again, you know, one of the best tips that I would encourage people for when it comes to creating content, be it on TikTok or otherwise, is when you have the idea, when the idea is still fresh, like act on it, like strike while the lightning's there, you know, like kind of strike while the iron is hot. There's been so many ideas that I've had where like I'll create like lists and then eventually I just never end up doing it, so to speak. So with TikTok, because of the idea that it's only a 60-second format, it really encourages me to just kind of like really just hit it home, you know, just like pump it out really quick. And that's actually what I like about it. And that's why like there's so much more TikTok that I got planned. My next one that I'm going to do is going to be some more like comedy stuff. It's going to be related to like aliens and UFOs, man. So anyways, just hitting upon a couple other things here, and then I'm going to switch it up and show some other stuff that I've done. One of the things that I did was basically recycle a video that I've made before, but it's one of the well-known videos, the Awakening Within the Matrix video. So again, without even kind of like playing,
you may have overheard that
just kind of like letting that play in the background. A lot of you have seen this one already, but again, just kind of like showing you that there's a variety of ways in which you can kind of like repurpose content. This was edited in Adobe Premiere, so that's why like the background kind of looks the way it does. Theoretically, this could be edited within an editing app. If you can get Adobe Premiere or some sort of desktop video editing app. It's really going to increase your production. And then from there, again, what you're going to do is you're going to upload the files to Google Drive, download them onto your phone, and re-upload them onto TikTok. A bit of a step-by-step process there, but it will greatly enhance your capabilities. And again, this is a video, this is 5 years old, this video, and now more than ever seems incredibly relevant. And again, like, this was something I shared because there's a powerful message here. And this is only 1 minute of like a 5-minute clip, but still, over 13,000 views on it, over 2,000 likes or whatever. A lot of people saw this and they were just like, yo, this was like really cool. It blew my mind. And it kind of like led off the previous one that I did that you guys would have seen from the week before, of this one here, when I'm like talking about like microcosm, macrocosm. So again, it's kind of the same thing in a different format. Another thing that I'm just going to show you real quick, and then I'm going to change into some other stuff. This was a really cool video that I did.
Matters most are the simple pleasures so abundant that we can all enjoy them. Happiness doesn't lie in the objects we gather around us. To find it, all we need to do is open our eyes.
So again, this was something that kind of came to me through the editing process. Like, basically, this footage, this like little planet effect, that happens when you film with a 360 camera, and then there's like a certain zoom format that you can use that makes the footage look like that. So I could literally walk anywhere and create that same effect. Having the trees there and everything, it looked really cool. And then when I was kind of playing with this in just the editing software, I wasn't even sure what I was going to make right away. And then when I was editing it, I was like, oh, what if I just like put some space behind it? So I put some space behind it, created a new layer, created a mask to keep the color of the earth. And this little planet effect instantly reminded me of Little Prince. The Little Prince is a very well-known book. There's a movie version as well. And within the movie, there's kind of like this like whole theme of these planets where the Little Prince kind of goes to the planet, and it really is this journey of awakening. So basically, like, when I did that, I was like, okay, I know I did that, and now I kind of want to add some sort of text to it. So I'm like, all right, let's use a quote from Little Prince. And then I added the voiceover all within the video editing app, and here we go. I think I made something like pretty unique, pretty stylish. And again, this was me just wanting to make something for part of my own creative practice as well, right? Like, this isn't one of my more popular videos, but it was still something where I was just like, whoa, that's a really cool piece of art. And that's what it is. And we want to be able to look at our TikToks as art, right? So it's like, I like the idea that we start doing this. We can like start referring to them as talks. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go make some talks, some like talks, TOKs or TALKs. So it's like, what are we talking about? What message are we sending out? So yeah, so that was kind of a cool little video that I was really really excited to be able to just play with. There's a lot more stuff that I'm going to play with when it comes to 360 footage. But yeah, that was just a quick example there. Here's another one that I'll just kind of show you real quick. This was actually, again, me kind of experimenting with the idea of doing a TikTok live and then recording clips while doing TikTok live, and then uploading those as little snippets. So one of the things with TikTok Live is that it doesn't record your recordings. But what you can do, if you're on TikTok Live, you can literally like screen record certain segments that you perhaps specifically want to be able to capture. So that's what I was doing. I was out there, I was hanging out with people on TikTok Live, and then I was inspired. It was like, okay, let's just like hit record, and then I would film something. And then from there, you would get these little clips. So here's like a little one. And again, this is just kind of like goofy. So I'll just kind of like let this play. And then again, we're going to switch it up into browse some of the other creators. There's like, oh my God, this broadcast could be like 5 hours. There's no limit to the creators. And again, I'm going to, within the next 20 minutes, we'll bring Marbella and Brianna on. And again, if obvious, and if Spencer, if either of you there, feel free to join into the Zoom chat. Links in the team Discord. So here's a quick little one here. If you were looking for a sign, this is it. Dirty rubber tire marks in a parking lot in the shape of a Fibonacci spiral. What? We are the universe! Yeah! So again, that's like literally me just kind of like, again, kind of like bringing that playful, lighthearted energy. Those posts were basically just like test posts in a way. I'm like, oh, let's just see what the receptivity will be. Let's just kind of like create something a little fun. Let's just kind of be goofy and stuff like that. What I am noticing though, and some of you may have noticed this, since the last time we did the broadcast, I'm pretty sure TikTok changed some stuff. Like, there's like the algorithm slightly different now. The reach seems to be slightly different now. And so this really emphasizes the importance of creating quality content. Quality content is so important, while at the same time creating kind of playful content. Because that way, when even people land on your stuff, you don't just kind of want like a just kind of like the super quick content. Sometimes that's great. I mean, this is going to be personal to you. It's going to be different for everyone. But again, having that focus on quality content is incredibly important. And again, there's certain things that are going to really help make quality content stand out, such as the video quality, the lighting, the audio, the placement of the text, the music. So even with that, like that, I found, you know, I typed in like chill vibes and found the music, slapped 15 seconds on that, pretty much edited that like mostly in just the TikTok editor and everything like that. But again, the really encouraging people to like really take the time to like edit things and polish it in as best a way as you can. Quick little tip that I didn't mention last time. One of the best things to be able to take note of when doing TikTok is to be able to basically pay attention to your activity feed and pay attention to your comments. Hey, I can see Marbella's liking the new posts and stuff like that. That's cool. You guys could literally leave comments on my post and I'll see it on air right now. But one of the things that's really actually helpful for like the ranking of your account is to engage with comments. So at the top, when you hit the top, you can see all activity. If you just click comments, you can go there and then you can literally see comments. I have literally replied to every single comment that has come through my TikTok. So there is no comment that is left that I haven't replied to. In the same note as that, do not be afraid to delete comments that you feel do not resonate with the message of your page. There have been comments that I've deleted. If there are comments where I'm just like, yeah, that's not really relevant, or that's just kind of like a rude comment and stuff like that, I do not hesitate to delete them. You are responsible for the comments that are left on your page. And so rather than just having to like let them pile up, if you see a comment come in right away, just be like, yeah, okay, delete, boom, done. Person will move on. Like the last thing you want to do is like feed the trolls, right? That's something that I've learned over the years. But again, really encouraging you to engage with individual comments as you see them. One of the things that I do with specific comments is that I'll like, if it's a comment where they're just kind of saying thank you, what I'll do is I'll basically say like, thank you too. If you haven't yet, feel free to check the links in my profile to connect to my YouTube and to be able to tune in for our team meditations. The reason behind that is because even though you're still getting X number of followers on TikTok, you want to be able to invite them further. You want to make sure that they're getting notifications, that they're staying engaged, because even still I have 6,000 followers. Like, what does that number really mean in terms of how many of those followers are going to stay engaged? So what I really want is I want to be able to make that personal invitation for them to be able to connect further and for them to be able to, example, join our on-air meditations, or to join our team chat, to join our Patreon, to make sure they're subscribed to my YouTube so they can tune in here, for them to be invited into being a part of the community. So that's where replying to comments is incredibly important, because while they are still fresh, you have that line of communication open where you can genuinely express your gratitude, create that meaningful relationship, create that impression where they're just like, hey, this person actually cares, this creator cares. Like, a lot of creators don't reply to comments, and so like, what's the point of having like 10,000 fans if like none of them actually, you know, if they're not expecting you to reply to comments? Replying to comments will create an impression where people be like, oh, this person's like, it will make them feel special. Like, it really will. In the same way, if, you know, you like walk into a party and like the host comes up and shakes your hand and says like, hey, thanks so much for being here, I really appreciate you just like joining in, right? Opposed to just feeling like you're ignored, right? So acknowledge your community as you continue to build it. Incredibly important. So yeah, from there, the other thing I'll just kind of show, this was a new technique that I wanted to play with on TikTok, where basically it's helping feature fellow creators, including Marbella is in here. So this is kind of like using that niche song, this song that you've heard before. And so there's Hannah from last broadcast, there's Anatoly and Marbella and Antoine. So that format, I had never seen anybody do something quite like this, where they literally like specifically made a video shouting out other creators. Yeah, there's duets and everything like that. And then basically what I did, I wanted to create this as an experiment, and then I included the links for these creators in the info for this video. So if you were to go at the bottom and like literally click like the profile, then you can find that here, and we'll use that as a segue to begin like featuring some of the other creators here. So again, from here, what we're going to do, I'm just going to kind of like roll through with a couple other creators, and then as soon as I can just kind of give a couple examples, we're going to bring Marbella and Brianna onto the broadcast. And again, if Spencer and Obvious are here in the broadcast, feel free to click the link in the Discord to be able to join in. And I'm just going to take a moment here just to be able to acknowledge those of you in the chat. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Inner Flame. Thank you to Javier. Thank you to One Love Free. Thank you to Marabella. Thank you to Wizbold and to Iris and to Rasta. Quite a few of our Patreon supporters in here. So thank you again, everyone. For those of you tuned in on TikTok, if you're tuning in on TikTok, click the link in my bio to watch on YouTube. So again, I literally have the TikTok live right now, but you want to be able to tune in on YouTube. So go ahead, click the link in my bio, and right at the top it will say live on YouTube tonight, and you can join there. So I'm just going to take a moment here to breathe and drink a glass of water, bottle of water, and then we'll jump into some more exciting stuff. So again, thank you so much everyone for being here. Let's allow the synchronicity to unfold, and we might even find some new creators tonight. We'll let the we'll let the For You page kind of like reveal some new creators to us tonight. So here is Let Spirit Guide You. One thing I want to be able to check when you guys are watching this is the audio synced up with the Instagram display. I can't, it's hard for me to double check this because I got everything playing all at once. But I may have to adjust it. I'm not entirely sure. It may already be synced up. I think it's probably already synced up. So anyways, Let Spirit Guide You. I'm going to post the links for these creators into the chat. So this is Let Spirit Guide You. And please, if you're on TikTok, even like open it up and go ahead and go follow them right now. Again, this is a really cool creator because this is a creator who is obviously, you know, like probably a hippie who grew up in the 70s, and here they are utilizing TikTok, utilizing technology, and really sharing some powerful, heartfelt messages in you know, through their content. And they have over 16,000 followers, so they're obviously, you know, making some really meaningful content that people are connecting with. And that's the idea, you know, like all of us will bring our unique style, and our unique style will uniquely reach different people. There will be certain people that you will reach that I won't reach because our styles are different, and that's the beauty of it. So I'm going to play one of the videos here. So this is, again, Let Spirit Guide You. I mentioned to them about the broadcast tonight. Hopefully we can get them on air for a future one. So again, just watch this. This is good. This is like, I haven't even seen this one, so we're listening to this together. A lot of the content we're going to watch tonight is going to be like watching it together. So here you go.
I was woken up in the middle of the night to give you another message. Everything is just an illusion. This life is literally what you're creating of it. If you're sitting home, or you're depressed, or you're not able to move forward, or you're having reoccurring thoughts over and over, it's something that you're creating because of a perception of something that came in. Again, that's an illusion. It's what you make of it. Everything that happens is meant to make you be a better version of yourself. It's chipping away at that masterpiece. So things that might seem painful or like they're meant to stop you are actually meant to level you up into a better version of yourself. It's meant to make you stronger. It's meant to make you find things within yourself that you didn't know were there. It's meant to trigger and activate these things that are inside of you to make you be stronger, to be able to handle the things that are coming, and get stronger and stronger and stronger until you are literally living your dream on the happiest and highest vibration possible. I was
Awesome. So there you go. You can kind of see like they've been getting pretty good at like really allowing these heartfelt messages to come through. And again, even with sometimes when you create the content, you know, like there may be times where you're just like, I'm going to turn on the camera and whatever comes through is going to come through. Like, spirit, speak through me in this moment. And then you just kind of like use that as a way to just be able to like see what content gets created. So again, with Let Spirit Guide You, like they're editing all their stuff in TikTok. They're using the sound in there. I could notice that one, like the music was a little bit higher. Like if anything, she could have lowered it. I'm not here to nitpick or anything like that. But again, like they're creating an amazing amount of content. So I really encourage you to check that out. We're just going to play one more and then we're going to jump to another creator. So here's one more. And yeah, again, I'm picking these at random. So I have not heard these before. So again, this is Let Spirit Guide You, aka Cat Heart.
I truly, truly believe that this life is about being happy and finding out a way for the world to get along. You know, I mean, we have so many different ideas and dreams and goals, but that's what makes us so cool. I love the differences of people. I love to learn about people, and I love how everybody's unique. I don't want people to be like me. If I inspire people, great, but I want people to be them. I want you to be the best version of you. That's what makes everything so beautiful and unique, is that everybody has their own flavor. Everybody has their own accent. Everybody has their own style, and I love that. I love to get to know people. So get to know you. What's your style? Who are you? Take a little bit from everybody and kind of mold yourself like Play-Doh. Like when you were a kid, you used to build things. Build yourself, because you are your best masterpiece. You're living your dream. So go for it.
Beautiful. I love that. Did you hear that? Is everyone paying attention? Like, you are your own masterpiece. Like, craft yourself like Play-Doh. I like that. So again, that's Let Spirit Guide You. Obviously, there's like tons more of content there. I'm looking forward to being able to have her on air for a future broadcast. So from here, let's see, what are some other creators that we can jump to first? I'm gonna jump to Obvious. I think it's just pronounced Obvious, but there's like a P in it. So I'm gonna go to find Obvious. So again, just let me do a quick little search here. So this is Obvious, Opvious. Again, maybe they're going to be tuning into this later. They might even be in the live chat now. I'm not 100% sure. They said they were going to be around, but we're just kind of waiting to see. Again, if there are any other leading members who want to be able to jump on air for this broadcast, the link for the Zoom is in the info. And again, we're going to bring on the creators as soon as possible. It's just hard for me to kind of like do the previewing thing and for the people in the Zoom to be able to hear it. So this is the best way for all of us, just kind of, this is like a little like, you know, theater presentation for us to be able to enjoy. So again, for those of you who are here, be sure to follow Obvious. And again, I'll post a link for them into the chat. So again, this is a cool way just to be able to celebrate what it is that we're creating here. Like, this is art. So like, let's look at the art that we're creating together here. So I'm just gonna kind of like scroll through. I'm just gonna kind of like pick one at random. So let's see. All right, okay, so here's one that has 26,000 views. The title of it, The Younger Generations Are Becoming More Woke. Let's check this out. I haven't seen this one.
The younger generations are becoming so much more woke, and makes me so happy and so hopeful for the future. The younger generation.
Super simple one there. And again, it just kind of shows like that's like one that was like less than 10 seconds, but you can see that reached like 26,000 people. So again, you know, 26,000 people, like, it's crazy how this TikTok platform is giving us an opportunity to be able to relay powerful messages. Like, messages are the most important thing for us to be able to be sharing in today's day and age, right? So like, that's why I think a lot of us who have been spending, you know, all of these years kind of working on our own like spiritual growth and everything like that, now it's kind of like, oh, I have a message to share. And what is that message? I mean, maybe you don't entirely know what that message is, but just being able to put yourself in front of an audience, being able to have that platform will allow you to practice being kind of, again, like this like conduit for spirit to kind of move through you. So I'm just going to pick probably about like 3 more. Let's see. Okay, here's one that I've seen that's like a pretty popular one, and this is them using the green screen effect, talking about different like vibrational frequencies and emotions. Here you go.
You see, everything is energy. The more you are resonating on these emotions, and these emotions, the worse. But the more you can get into these emotions, the closer you will be to living your best life. You see, everything is energy.
Again, 94,000 views on that one, so that's pretty amazing. I'm just gonna click a few more here. I'm gonna actually show you like one of the ones that inspired kind of like my own creative video, like the one with like the as above so below stuff. And again, and I told him this, I'm like, yo dude, like your video like inspired me. Here it is here. This one's at 741,000 views, so that's like almost at 1 million views. This one really went viral, so go ahead. He's like talking about some like as above so below stuff.
Look at the similarities of brain cells and galaxies. The birth of a cell looks so similar to the death of a star. And our eyes look very similar to a nebula. What if this universe is just a brain cell inside of a larger organism? Look at the
So there you go. Again, pretty short and sweet, but a powerful message there, right? So it's like, how can we crystallize these messages? And yeah, again, you know, like for a lot of people who are going to be like finding this stuff, like it may be the first time that they're getting introduced to some of these outside the box ideas, right? So like, that's kind of where, again, this platform really holds its power. The way I see it, like this platform and us being on it is a very powerful way for us to be able to help accelerate the shift in consciousness. Very simple as that, right? Like as a shifter, as a light guardian, for the people tuned into this project, that's been my message since day one, is how can we be able to help accelerate the shift in consciousness through intentional action, right? So using our art, sharing our messages, being there for one another. This is such a powerful way for us to be able to do that. the amount of people that are waking up right now, like within the past 2 months, is more like collectively than the amount of people, like there's more people waking up within the last 2 months than there has been in any 2-month period over the past like 15 years, I would say, because again, no one's like, everyone's kind of at home, they're not as distracted, and again, a lot of people are jumping on TikTok, and again, this content is really populating it. So again, regardless of kind of like, you know, like thinking of like hidden agendas behind TikTok, I would say that in some way, like consciousness almost created TikTok as a way for it to be able to accelerate its own collective shift in consciousness, or in order for it to be able to help assist with its own awakening. Because like, yeah, there is stuff happening on YouTube and Instagram, but like, I don't know, man, like TikTok is like really doing it in its own way. Like TikTok is helping so many people wake up right now. It is just incredibly beautiful. So again, that's obvious. Go ahead and check out their stuff. I'm just going to show again a few more creators, a couple creators that that I want to be able to do. And again, I'm going to bring on Marbella and Brianna on. I apologize. I know it's just kind of like trying to jam everything in here. I want to be able to get you guys on, but at the same time, we just kind of want to feature a couple more creators. Here is, I'm going to show you Anatoly. So Toly is again kind of like an incredible phenomenon within TikTok, and I've had the pleasure of just like hanging out with him. I've been on a few lives with him. He's a cool guy, obviously like a younger person, but again, he is kind of like a phenomenon in the sense that you can see he literally has over 232,000 followers. When I first connected with him like 3 months ago, he was maybe like 130 or something. Like he's gone up like 100,000 followers, and you can see his videos, like literally recent ones, like 12,000 views, 33,000 views. And so there's some really simple but really powerful messages that he's sharing in his content. And again, it's like a reflection of his own awakening. And the other thing that's really cool is him, and there's actually like a group of his friends, and they all jumped on TikTok at the same time, and they all started creating conscious content. So him, again, like Tyson, oh man, I forget their names, but Antoine is another one, and they all like, they live in the same area and they create content on TikTok, and they've all gone viral. So it's like, here is Spirit working through Toly, like Anatoly, that's his name, and like the amount of people that he is helping just kind of introduce to these spiritual contents is incredibly cool. And again, with me mentioning on this broadcast, this is a chance for us to just be able to like kind of like celebrate it, right? Because like, I want us to keep in mind that whatever we're talking about right now, like, yeah, this is like different people, different avatars, but essentially like this is all us, right? Like this is all us doing what we can to be able to help wake ourselves up. So like, that's where it gets like really exciting. So let's see what the us inside of Anatoly has been doing. So I'm just going to click on like a random video. So here we go.
Tips for when taking psychedelics.
Well,
warning, they are not for everyone, but
we'll
if
listen
they're
to it
calling
anyways.
your name, then hey, they're calling your name. Mindset and setting. What is your mindset? Are you doing it just to have fun, or do you want more from it? So if you want more from it, set an intention saying you want more from it. Set an intention that you're going to learn. Setting, are you doing it inside in an artificial place, or are you outside in nature? I suggest nature.
That's like his thing. Like him and the other guys are like extraterrestrial squealers. They always do this squeal thing, but honestly, within content, it's like a great pattern interrupt. It's a great way to just kind of like get people's attention, and they remember them. They're just like, oh, what? Like those guys are like those squealers or whatever. So all right, okay, I'm gonna play a few more of his videos. Just gonna kind of like scroll down to some random one here. Like this is kind of like probably one that's pretty got some sort of message in it. Here we go.
You can never go wrong with the decision made out of the heart.
See, like, and that's like viral content right there. I'm just gonna click on another one. He does a lot of ones where he's just kind of like dancing and stuff like this. So here's one. I'll just click a random one. When you hold a grudge, you create a blockage in your aura. Release your energy and anchor in by healing your inner demons and trauma. So again, he makes like a whole bunch of just different varieties. I'm just gonna click one more. Here we go.
I heard you live your life based off other people.
Okay, one more. Again, his stuff is like easy to binge. Okay, here, we'll do another squealing one. That's what he says.
You are an immortal being having a temporary human experience.
So again, just like tactically, like think about what is actually being accomplished here. Here's this like, again, this younger guy, like just kind of like having fun, being goofy, but then there's a lot of people that are just like, yo, I really resonate with this. I relate to it, and I'm actually learning from it, and it's actually giving me permission to explore a lot more of like my own spirituality. So again, like younger people are waking up and they're on TikTok and they're creating content, and again, it's pretty exciting. All right, okay. How are you guys doing in the live chat? If you guys are having fun so far, drop an 1111. Marabella, let me know if you're still here in the live chat, and as well as Brianna, let me know that you guys are still here. And all right, it looks like Marabella's here. I'm not sure if Brianna might have had to have jumped off. So I am going to do oh man, like believe me, like this list that I got, I could literally just copy you guys like this entire list of so many creators. Like that's the thing, I can't even get through them all today. There's a couple that I specifically wanted to mention. Jeez, which one? Is it Megan? I think that one. Let me just find one here. Megan, is this it? No, that's not it. Which one is it? It's hard to tell from the usernames who's who. Is it Lauren? Sorry. Lauren. There's a specific one I was trying to find and I can't even. Oh, that's what it is. Foxadelic. That's who I was going to mention. Foxadelic is going to be joining us on a future broadcast. Foxadelic. Okay, here we go. So here's Foxadelic. Posting the link for that in the chat as well. Marabella, you're still here? Okay, cool, sweet. All right, so Marabella, I'm gonna bring you on a bit. It may just be Marabella on for the broadcast today. Again, if Spencer and Obvious, if they're not around, that's totally cool. Okay. All right, so here's one. This is Foxadelic. So Foxadelic, and again, like a lot of the videos kind of like talking about like things related to like psychedelics and things like that. Obviously, far beyond it. Okay, I'm again. Some of these I haven't even seen, so I'm just gonna click one at random. Here we go. This one says, "When someone asked me for proof of extraterrestrial." So I have a feeling this might be funny. Here we go. Me wanting to explain that I have physically raced a UFO 2 feet away from me at a beach. Oh, it's like talking about a UFO experience. All right. Okay, I'm gonna click on this one. I think this one's audio based because I want one where you can like hear her talk, right?
Earth Day is an amazing day to give gratitude to this planet. But we shouldn't be giving gratitude just one day out of the year. Here's some ways that you can help. Don't buy fast fashion. Support local farmers. Pick up trash whenever you see it. Use zero waste containers and reusable water bottles. Eat plant-based. Stop supporting factory farming. Don't take baths. Stop wasting water. Try to reduce your carbon footprint. Stop being a brainwashed consumer. Start being mindful of what you buy and where it comes from. And hug as many trees as you possibly can.
Aw, that was good. I haven't seen that one before. That was an awesome one. So again, you can really see like just the heartfelt message behind what it is that they're sharing. And again, like with us sharing this, I want this content to, again, just kind of like inspire other people to create content. So I'm just going to choose one more and then we're going to jump to another creator. Let's see, I'll find a random one. Here, okay, here's one about like manifesting. There's a lot of popular videos out there about like manifesting and law of attraction. Here we go.
Let's just be clear, manifesting is different for everyone. There are things that just won't work for you that will work for others. There will be things that work for you that don't work for others. In my personal practice, my favorite way of manifesting is through art. Also, writing stories and music. In those ways, it's so easy for me to visualize myself there. I am on the same vibration because I am practically there. It's like watching a movie and you're the main character. The main point is taking that ideal situation and being there and feeling it as if you are there. Once you are there, you have already experienced it. In the infinite realities and dimensions that are going on, you are experiencing it. And now you're on the same vibration as that. Therefore, you are taking from that and it will be coming back into your life. There is no wrong way to manifest. Everyone has their own ways of doing things, you know? Let's just be clear, manifest.
Awesome. That was a pretty cool one. Again, that's like practical tips of manifesting. So again, that goes right in theme with the idea of like becoming better dreamers within the dream, learning of how to be able to create. So again, that's Foxadelic. Obviously, like we could literally just like watch like content from individual creators for hours, just binge. Like they've got quite a bit, 26,000 followers. Again, like I've already talked to them. They're going to be joining in for a future broadcast. So again, part of my job as Mystic Spider-Man has been building this team of superheroes, and the way TikTok works has been super powerful for synchronistically like me coming across other creators where I'm like, yo, like, okay, this is like a person that like kind of has like a vibe that I feel would fit well with the team, and then reaching out and being like, yo, we're building a team of conscious creators, and then they're like, oh, I'd love to be involved, and then lo and behold, we like come together. So again, I'd love to be able to do kind of like more broadcasts like this if you guys kind of like this style where it's just kind of like us like talking, and we could even do like, because again, I it's hard because I want to do ones where it's like bringing in the team to chat, and then it's hard for me to do that when it's just me just kind of like featuring this. So I feel like we almost have to divide it up, which would mean almost like doing a whole nother broadcast. Like it'd be like TikTok Tuesdays where we just kind of do this and celebrate and talk about TikTok creators and stuff like that. Okay, so okay, here's a quick one that I just want to be able to let people know about. This is a good friend of mine, Paper Druid. They're actually new on TikTok, so I want to be able to just like invite people to just be able to follow their account. So this is Paper Druid on Instagram. So if you guys can literally just like go and follow their account and even just like leave a message and just be like, yo, like Mystic Spider-Man told me to follow your account or something like that, they would appreciate it. Even with any of those, go to it and just be like, yo, like Mystic, like I found you through Mystic Spider-Man or something like that. Like seriously, do that, because that's going to kind of like create this like further relationship where it's like, yo, this is working. Like this is really cool. We're like building as a team here. So Paper Druid, again, they're literally just new on Instagram, but they're an awesome artist friend of mine. So I'm just going to play like a couple of their videos real quick. Again, like they're just starting, right? But again, let this be an invitation for anyone who may just be getting started. I convince them. I'm like, yeah, you'd be great for TikTok. So here's So again, like super simple. Here's like one. I think this is like using footage from. I thought it was a Midnight Gospel, but it's not. You can tell they're just kind of like experimenting. Here's one of them just like featuring their art. Do you like art? They said. And you can tell here that like this is like the first one. Like the text is like covered at the bottom, but they learned from that. They're like, oh, I can't remake that. I have to remake it. So they make some really cool art. So again, I just told them, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna mention you on the broadcast tonight, so please feel free to go and check out them as well. All right, okay, other person, I'm gonna mention one more, and then we're gonna mention Marbella, and then we're gonna bring on Marbella. Kevin, do you want us to should we plug Kevin on the broadcast tonight? All right, so what was the other one? So here is One Love Free, who is literally in the chat with us tonight. So again, this is a nice little way just to be able to say thank you to, again, like the community members who are like right here, right now. So this is One Love Free. Again, you can literally talk to them. They're literally in the chat right now. One Love Free. So follow them on TikTok as well, and you can just kind of like say hello and just be like, oh, we found them through here. And again, they literally started on TikTok after the broadcast that we did last week, I think. Like, yeah, like less than 5 days ago, less than a week ago. So I haven't seen all their videos, but we're gonna click this one, opening your heart chakra. So One Love Free, thank you so much for just like being here and for adding your energy to the TikTok ecosystem. And yeah, happy to be able to invite more people to check out what you're creating as well. So let's see. Opening heart chakra. So yeah, so you can see, like, look, they're doing what I was talking about, where they're like sending vibes through the camera, and they added like a cool little effect. That's awesome. I hadn't seen that one. And they got the tags working. They got the spiritual awakening, sound healing, energy healing, crystals, meditation. Again, the tags are so important. Mastering the tags on TikTok is so important because that tells you who it's going to be delivered to. And if you don't put tags, it's not going to be delivered. Okay. Here's like another funny cute one. It's like, here, have some love. And it's like them like sharing love. So cute. Awesome. All right, okay, we're just gonna do one more here. How to get ready to lucid dream. So here's a cool one. This is again like practical tips. I'll read what it says on screen. How to get ready to lucid dream. Nightly prayer done. Sage to keep any negative energy away when I'm sleeping. Read my dream journal. Ambient music on my headphones. Good night and sweet dreams. So again, nice little like practical tip there. Let's just see what the recent one is. How to create the future. Focusing on visualization. Got some cool music there. You create the future. Good vibes. Sweet, awesome. So yeah, I just like that there. I'm gonna add a quick little comment there. Whee! So again, you guys can go leave some comments. Oh, you can see Kevin actually added this like 40 minutes ago. Look at this. It's like live community connections in action. There we go. All right, here I'm gonna show Kevin's. That's a nice segue here. So here's Kevin's. This is Kevin Bolmer. Again, I was actually on his podcast not too long ago. If those of you who are on my if you can find the interview that we did, it's on my podcast. So his is No Schedule Man, and again, Kevin is again he's an awesome friend. And again, like his content, like it's not necessarily in like the spiritual niche, but it is. But he's kind of like doing it where he's like kind of coming at it from a different angle, and he's kind of like reaching maybe like, you know, a different demographic, so to speak. He's been a professional speaker. He does on-stage stuff. He hosts a local community event called Mo Mondays where it brings together inspirational speakers, very similar to kind of the intentions of what we're creating here. So for everybody here, do me a favor. Go follow No Schedule Man, aka Kevin Bolmer, as he launches himself into the TikTok ecosystem. So, and again, like this is like kudos to you, Kevin, because like I know again, like you're figuring this out as we do it, and that's the way how we kind of have to approach it, where we're learning it as we do it. So I'm gonna click on the newest one. So let's see what we got here.
One of the things I've learned that I think is worth passing along about being really committed to growing spiritually and expanding both personally and professionally is it's probably a good idea not to expect all your current group of friends to go with you on the journey, because they probably won't. Some will. There will be a select few who will be by your side no matter what every step of the way, but probably most of the others will fall by the wayside here or there. It doesn't mean that they don't love you and that you can't continue to love them, and it doesn't mean that it's not natural and normal, but you're on your path and they're on theirs. They're not thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves. And you've challenged yourself to expand and grow, which means that you're actively seeking, diving into change, which is the one thing that so many other people are trying to control and keep from happening. You're going to notice that your world and your circle of friends and connections is starting to change as well, and that's okay, but it's something to keep in mind and be ready for as you head into it.
Awesome. Sweet. So there you go, Kevin. And again, even with that, like Kevin, like great job. Like I can see you're already learning. I mean, with that one, like I would just, you know, if we're giving feedback, it's just like, okay, like how can we adjust the title positioning? Maybe even change the title duration. Like, do we need the text up there the entire time? Maybe we just need it for like the first 10 seconds. But you can see that's one of the challenges with TikTok is that the resolution on the screens is different per phone. So just as long as the text isn't too low, but also being aware that it's not too close to the sides either, and finding that sweet spot where it doesn't get cut off. So, and then filming your content ahead of time with that idea in mind. So it's like, if you were to put it on the top, suddenly it's like on your face, so you don't want that, so you kind of gotta give yourself headroom. So again, that's just part of the learning curve. But great job, Kevin. I was really happy to be able to see that one. That one's like 2 hours old, so that was new to me. So great job. All right. Okay. Before I go over to Marbella, I actually want to find where's Blake's profile here. Yeah, so Blake, I saw you did a post earlier today. I didn't reply to it. I was just like in the middle of something, but I saw it. And it was like literally like inspired as a result of our morning meditations, like waking up with Wolf. So here's Blake. I hadn't even followed Blake yet somehow. So there we go. Blake's got a new follower. So this is Blake Dorn 4, and Blake's been tuning in for our morning meditations. Again, as far as I know, Blake is like a new member to the community, so let's give a nice special welcome to Blake. And yeah, here's like a little video again that Blake made that was inspired by like our morning meditations. Here we go. Having fun with your meditations. It brings in the good energy. Nice. And you can like see they're like practicing like the laughter yoga and even like the flow movements and stuff like that. I'm gonna just click on let's see, Blake. I'm gonna click on a couple ones here. Here, I'm gonna click on this one. All right, here we go. After some mindfulness and healing, I am feeling stronger and better than ever. It's okay to not be perfect. Beautiful message, Blake. Very important. Awesome smiles. Adding a like to that. Sweet. And again, I'm reading the comments because again, people are going to be like watching this in the future without visuals, so that's why. So all right. Okay, cool. Sweet. So again, be sure to check out Blake's, and let's jump over to Marbella. And then from there, Marbella, you're in the Zoom chat, and then we're going to bring Marbella on, and then we'll see if we can still kind of like watch other stuff as we do this. Again, there are literally like, I'll literally just copy and paste like a bunch of names of creators into the chat. I'm just gonna like, I got like a list here. Oh my god. Okay, here's a list of creators I'm typing into the chat. Screenshot this, and you can like follow all these later or something like that. Some of them were already mentioned here. I'm literally just like, this is like my list of like infinite creators that we could go over. Some of them are mentioned twice. So if you want to check that out, do that. Oh, okay, actually, sorry, before we do that, I do want to mention there's one more person. This is Dome Moon, who is again going to be joining us in a future broadcast, and then we're going to jump into Marabella's. Dome Moon has 34 subscribers, 34 followers, and they are visionary artists, and again, they just make some like really beautiful art. I haven't watched all their videos, but here, I'm just going to kind of click on a couple. Here we go.
It has a plan.
The universe has a plan.
Sometimes it's a really gnarly plan, but nonetheless, it still has a plan. The universe has a plan.
That's cute. All right, I'm just gonna click on a couple more here.
Put her finger down, women edition.
Okay, let's get more.
This is one of the sweetest comments I've ever received. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so much. This made my week.
The comment says, your art instills part of my lost soul in which I find great to reflect and what's lost to be found. Beautiful. All right, let's just click on a couple other here. I haven't seen all their content, but again, they make some incredible visionary art. So again, this is their profile, is Dome Moon Art. So at Dome Moon Art. So everyone be sure to go give them a follow and tell them that you found them through here. Depression leaving my body after a psilocybin mushroom ceremony. using that meme there. Okay, I'm just gonna find one there.
See this what we not finna do. 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 This not what we about to do.
Do not devalue art. Important message. Okay, just one more. I just want to find one where they're just like talking.
Hi, are you a fellow elder millennial who still uses Facebook? If so, please join me in my Facebook group, Dome Moon Art for Liberation Family. That's where I post all of my progress pictures and behind the scenes, and it's just a community full of people who love art and believe that nature is sacred. So I hope to see you there. Hi!
Awesome. So again, lots more on the page there. Obviously, we could spend more time on that. We're going to jump over to Marbella, and then we're going to bring Marbella on. Then we're going to talk for a bit. And then from there, we will wrap up the broadcast. Hold on 1 second here. I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong. Is that going to show it up? Did I do it? Yeah. Okay, sweet. Okay, cool. So, all right. So here's Marbella's content. So again, this is Marbella hybrid, or Marbella, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. So Wizbold, add yourself to that list quick. All right, so again, for those of you on who are watching on TikTok live, like we're live on YouTube right now, so go to my YouTube and you can watch, and that's where you'll be able to like hear the other people that we're bringing on to the broadcast. So let me just confirm here. All right, Marbella, I'm gonna bring you into the chat as soon as we just kind of like go over a couple of these, so make sure that you're ready for that. And all right, so again, here's Marbella hybrid, MARBELLA HYBRID. Again, they commented on one of my posts recently. That was the comment that I mentioned earlier about being able to kind of like receive telepathic messages through like one of my energy videos. And yeah, I'm just gonna kind of like pick like a random video. Actually, let's just kind of like go down a little bit. All right, okay, let's talk about, okay, here's one here about alternate realities and dimensions. So this is like one of the of just them like straight up talking. So go ahead, enjoy.
Hey guys, it's Marbella. So I wanted to come on here as your friendly neighborhood shaman and kind of talk about something that we do in our dreams. Have you guys ever noticed that you may have an experience in your dreams where it feels so real, and yet you wake up and you have memories and you're questioning whether, is this real life? Is that real life? Well, I mean, what if, and I mean, what if you have 2 bodies here on Earth, or 3 bodies, or 4 bodies? Could you be incarnating on Earth several times at the same time? I mean, these lives feel so real, right? I mean, could you possibly be having other bodies? Or would you just think that they're like alternate realities? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's possible? Let me know in the comments.
Awesome. So again, Marbella like really getting deep, and I like how Marbella like refers to themselves as like your local shaman, neighborhood shaman, your friendly neighborhood shaman. It's like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but a shaman. Okay, so I'm gonna there's a lot there that they have. We'll just show a couple more. Here's a light language one. Oh, here's oh, that's like the, oh yeah, that's the duet of me like doing the feature. Here's like a quick little light language one. For those of you who aren't familiar, light language, well, maybe Marbella can even talk a little bit about it as we do it, but yeah, here's like one. Again, it's kind of like sending good vibes in the form of light language.
I'm going to be sending out a light language transmission. Arikasin nasutura mele palikur nahainas nitain sura masanya kutana ale haruko sana haita mereki sanatuya nakashnit nisutur nahasani kufali leki nakasana taturi aramakan nasanala manit ene parasan taraseni Erenkun nasan yakashid Mereku rafasan yamatini Merleku urnomapan yakasin Anne tanasanatin.
Awesome, very cool, beautiful Marbella. All right, so here's a new one that they recently did the other day, and this has text on screen, so I'm just gonna kind of like read it. And and this one's like really well produced, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this as we bring them on in the next few moments. So here's one here. I'll read what it says on screen. Hey mom, something weird happened. The craziest synchronicity. Oh, let me pull some cards for you, says the mom. No, it's okay, I figured it out. My spirit guides helped. Oh, aw, that's my girl. LOL. So again, like that's a point of view, new age family life. And again, what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring Marbella on, and one of the things that Marbella was even saying, like when they were talking to me about this, they're like, yo, like let's practice creating content that's like envisioning the future, and then let's start acting it out as a way to actually begin manifesting it as well. So super cool. And here's one more that we're just going to show, and this is one that they're actually kind of doing to be able to like create like a little bit of a trend to invite people to do, and it's sharing their self-care morning routine. So last one, and then we're bringing them on.
Into your house, nobody's home, just me and you.
Yoga,
and me alone.
meditation, automatic drawing.
Playing hide and seek, it's getting hard to breathe under the sheets with you. Walk into
Okay, cool. Again, it's simple format to it, but that's kind of a cool idea, right? So like with that invitation, it's like, yo, like create something where we can like share our morning routine. I love that. All right, okay, so with that said, we're going to bring Marbella onto the broadcast, and again, from there, we'll just chat for probably like 45 minutes. I think it's just Marbella, unless if Spencer or Obvious is around, or if anybody else like randomly wants to join in. Kevin, do you want to join on air? The option's there, Kevin. I'll let you join on air if you want to join. You're more than welcome to, dude. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna bring Marbella on, and give me 2 seconds as we just get the audio all set up and everything here. So stand by. All right. Okay, Marbella, you are in the Zoom, so if you want to be able to get yourself set up on there, and then once they are ready, we will bring them in and get the camera all set up and switch things over. All right, cool, awesome. All right, Marbella, you can hear me okay? Okay, cool. Can you maybe move your, is it the microphone off your thing? I just want to be, it might need to be a little bit louder. I think it's coming off your computer, actually. It might not be that. So maybe just double check that. Yeah, go ahead. You can get yourself set up and stuff like that. So, well, so again, as we're doing that. So Marabella's just getting the setup. No, I'll let you know once I can hear you. But otherwise, we'll just work with the desktop. All right, Kevin, I'm gonna send you the link for the Zoom call as well. So Kevin, I'm sending that to you through. I'll let you know when I can hear you, Marbella. All right. Okay. Oh, I heard you there for a second. There, that. Whatever you just did there, that's good. All right, okay, cool. They can't hear you just yet. Just give me 2 seconds here. I just have to click a couple buttons to reset the audio. So, all right. All right, okay, so with that said, we're going to bring Marbella onto the broadcast in 1 second here as I just finish getting things set up. 2 seconds here. I just want to be able to implement an additional thing to be able to do this properly. And then I think Kevin's going to join us shortly as well. So, okay. All right. Okay, 2 seconds here. No, that's not going to work. All right, 2 seconds. Oh, that's all right. Okay, I'll just switch back to this. All right, stand by, folks. Just making a couple little adjustments here so the presentation is as good as we can make it, and then we will bring Marbella on. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in, for being here, for adding your energy to the broadcast tonight. And with that said, okay, that's good. All right, okay, cool. Okay. Actually, I might be able to do it just like that. All right. Okay, cool. We'll do it like that. All right. Okay. So with that said, we are going to bring Marbella onto the chat. So with that said, Marbella, you are now live on the broadcast. So thank you so much for joining us and for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. This is pretty awesome. Just creating these connections. I just started following like 7 to 8 of you during this broadcast. So it was really awesome.
That's super cool. And again, I think that's like a really powerful thing is that with TikTok, you know, like this is where kind of the idea behind creating the team is that just be able to like celebrate as we're posting new things to let people know. And then when we see each other creating, like we really want to make that habit of going out of our way to just be able to like leave a comment, engaging, helping create that like initial boost within the algorithm. That definitely plays a lot into it. So with that said, maybe just kind of share a bit about, you know, like what are you hoping to be able to like bring to the TikTok platform? What do you hope to be able to like help your audience receive through the content you're creating, the intentions?
Yeah, that's a perfect starting point. The whole thing about me is just I felt like I was always, you know, kind of afraid to share all these things, and just within the last year and a half, I've just like, who cares? I'm just gonna be me. And I've noticed the more that I've been me, sharing astral projection, sharing about different dimensions, talking about self-help, going into explaining what consciousness is, what this dream reality is like, breaking the illusion. That's what I bring to TikTok. And it's little hints. Sometimes I do manifestation videos. It's kind of interesting to see so many people comment that they resonate with this. And I've noticed, and I knew from getting on TikTok, there's different about this. Like there's some energy shifted where people just started sharing from their heart and they saw an opportunity to kind of plant seeds. So many in star seeds and light workers from Instagram just like started hopping over, and I became one of them, and I'm like inviting more people. I'm like, come on, like this is a place where you can actually have people see you and spread your message. So that's I'm everything witchy, multidimensional, and so I just share all that on TikTok.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'll ask you another question. We'll talk here for a bit, and I'm going to bring Kevin on in the next couple moments. Quick reminder for those of you watching me live on TikTok right now, join on my YouTube. The link's through my profile, and then you can listen to the conversation we're having as a team here. So what I was going to ask you is just like, what do you find different about TikTok compared to, like working on Instagram and YouTube and everything like that? Because I mean, I've tried to explain it in my own ways, but maybe, what, because I find it be very, like something where I wake up and I actually like have like a dopamine release and I get excited about creating new content, whereas kind of what I talked about in the last broadcast, sometimes creating for Instagram felt like a chore where it's just kind of like, oh, I have to, hopefully it reaches people, whereas like with TikTok, it's like, it really encourages you to kind of like put your heart into it, and then knowing that it will kind of like synchronistically reach the right people, and you never know, it might blow up or anything like that. But yeah, what do you find like different about TikTok and how that kind of helps us as conscious creators?
I think back when it was even Musically, before it was TikTok, I found it as just a way to like express yourself. It was so intuitive with the user that you could add the music, you could add your own facial expressions, do the lip syncing. And what made it, I think, really unique for me is that it does release that dopamine in your brain because of the visual stimulation and also the energy in people's faces. You're able to see and feel their vibe, and so at least an aspect of their vibe, because I've noticed that people portray themselves a certain way, and that's what you catch on to until you binge watch all their content. Sometimes you see that that's not really who they are, or they become more vulnerable and they show some other side, but like you're able to catch like a small segment of what they want you to see. And as you start scrolling down, I've noticed with more conscious creators, you just keep scrolling and they're just more and more themselves, and you just fall in love more and more with their vibe. You're easily able to filter out people that you don't resonate with. So I like that TikTok is like a even better filter for following people who you really connect with. And I really, really like that. And it's like I said, that's fun and exciting. And you really do have to have an idea and then just do it, because I've seen that with myself as well. I've have lists of ideas, but if I don't act on them right away, the energy is gone. Or you just like, you forget like that phase of consciousness going in to want to be implemented in that moment. It's just like past. So you gotta really do act on it.
Yeah, definitely, and it's such a great place where we can just really bring this playful energy, and I definitely see that like right now, like if you have the YouTube open, like it's like one of the ones of Elf playing games with Immortal. And so I mean, again, like the fact that you like literally bring like your elf ears, which is again like a big like archetype that I carry too. Like I literally have like the actual like one of them's like an actual elf ear, so it's not even prosthetic or anything. But again, it's just kind of like giving our souls a way to be able to express themselves in ways that previously, we didn't really have the medium for it. Because I think something that I'm a big like advocate of is, again, like I feel collectively right now there's a lot of people, and we're just kind of like, we're channels for this creative energy. Like this creative energy is flowing through us no matter what. But what makes it a little bit more effective is when we have a place to be able to direct that channel, to be able to direct that energy. And so that's where, like, even with a lot of the coaching that I do, a lot of people, they're just like, oh, like I have all these ideas, but I don't know how to communicate it. I don't know how to turn it into media. I don't know how to create a video. So I'm like, okay, here, let me teach you the skills. Let me help you with this. So again, like with TikTok, it's kind of like Spirit kind of like is like, oh sweet, now that we have TikTok, like here's like a download of content that we actually know that you'll be able to create. And so like that's where it feels like very just kind of intuitive and exciting. And yeah, and I definitely agree with what you said, where I think what makes TikTok different is the fact that, you know, 99% of the content, you are looking someone in the eyes. And again, within the content, within the context of the spiritual content and everything like that, like those eyes are the window to the soul. So I mean, you know, like call it TikTok, but maybe it should be called like soul talk or something like that, because that's like essentially what it is, right? Like we're literally seeing someone, and again, and that's where like I think with a lot of the content, seriously, like I am blown away by the potential with TikTok right now, because I feel that TikTok is like the renaissance and the revolution of consciousness, like in the 3D form. Like the it's happening in like kind of like the collective hive mind, but it's manifesting through something such as TikTok. And what's happening there is that we are utilizing this platform literally to educate each other. Like there are people there that are purely sharing their wisdom and their knowledge and their tips, you know, tips about like how to use TikTok, tips of how to do cooking, tips of the things related with the spiritual niche, and, you know, like life mastery and things like that. And again, you know, yeah, we're doing it so that, you know, we can reach more people. That's part of the fun. That's part of the excitement. But we're genuinely doing this because, again, we're just like, we want to be able to help each other. And we want other people to be able to like continue to level up and to continue to become their best self. So that's where like I see within a large portion of TikTok, it is very genuine. It is very humbling. It is literally people creating for the joy of creation and helping because they want to be able to help people. And again, and we get to kind of like decide and filter of like who we're going to connect with. And within that, there's obviously different communities and niches and everything like that. So yeah, like within your content, what do you hope that your audience kind of like gets out of it? And even kind of with like with more stuff, because again, you're kind of creating stuff that's going to be, you know, maybe a little bit more advanced, but then at the same time you're also creating stuff that's going to be like playful, lighthearted, and also great for people who may be new to a lot of these like spiritual topics too. So
One
yeah, go ahead.
of the main things that I just want to like get across is that, you know, the idea of your reflection, you know, to be comfortable and okay with your shadow, to be comfortable and okay with your lightness. Like there's so many parts of us, and there's people who get really divided and fractalized into only thinking they're like this small little thing. And so many of us even understand that we're so many different things, and yet they're still having trouble integrating all those different pieces. Like I mentioned on one of the TikToks, just for fun, like, you know, mermaids, aliens, fairies, people identify with being those things. And they're like, well, why do I feel like this? And then they feel so conflicted and struggle with being human as well. It's like because there's people, there's so many multifaceted sides of us that we need to just love, understand, accept, but also understand that we have human bodies right now, and it's a beautiful thing to experience human life. So it's amazing to have those connections and reach out when it needs to inspire you to make that wonderful art piece, you know, channel in that mermaid energy, to create that book that you've always wanted to create, and, you know, plant your little seeds. That's what I do with my novel. Like I plant my little you know, light work seeds, talking about ancient artifacts, talking about, you know, the people, the, you know, the races, the intergalactic races that, you know, helped you know, create this illusion, that helped, you know, make the pyramids, you know, have given us all these little clues and signals that have, you know, are trying to make us go closer and closer inside of ourselves. So I want to make like a bridge to all these abstract pieces, and through fun, like you say, through play, and even through like a serious tone. But that's the thing that spirituality is. It's usually people think it's so serious, but it can be so lighthearted and fun as well. But one more thing that I found,
Go for it.
you know, TikTok is very new, but have you thought about like where it's going to be in maybe 5, 6, 7 years? Augmented reality is already becoming very tangible here. So imagine having TikTok as an augmented thing. It brings experience closer to the user. So we have to start now bringing in consciousness to this, like I said, media medicine. I really like that word.
Media medicine and everything like that. Yeah, like I agree. Like one of the things that I've always kind of, again, just as a, you know, a person who loves technology and kind of has the foresight to be able to see where it's going, again, like that's where even just us doing these broadcasts, like we've been doing these broadcasts since like 2011, 2012, And again, in a lot of ways, like I was ahead of the curve there, and now suddenly flash forward to where we are now, and everyone's doing broadcasts, everyone's jumping on Zoom. And so in the same way, it's great to just be able to think ahead. And that's where, you know, again, you start getting into like the virtual space, the augmented space, and then the astral space, you know, like that's the other, that's like a whole another thing. It's like, let's have meetings in the astral, and that's something we talk about in the community.
It does happen. It does happen.
Yeah, we particularly focus on that during our dream class, which will actually be next week within the community. But yeah, again, you know, with this, I think one of the things that you really hit upon is that TikTok gives you a way to be able to kind of like play with the many facets of who we are. And I think again, like with Instagram, I saw a post about this today where it was basically like it was a woman and she was all glammed up, and it was like something, I forget how it was worded, but it was like making the transition from Instagram to TikTok. And then so like on Instagram, she was just like, it's like, oh, you're on Instagram, and she's all just kind of like glammed up. And that's how kind of this image that we have of Instagram, because it's like, you know, it's a single image. You want to be able to kind of like get people's attention, and with a single image, it's usually, you know, the kind of like this faux image that will kind of like pop into people's minds and everything like that. So just that raw and real doesn't really have the same reach. It doesn't have the same practical like tactics in terms of like getting your message across. And that's why you always have these professional looking glamorized photos on Instagram. But then at the same time, it's like, is that really you? And so basically kind of like within this little video, it's basically, she does this thing where it's like her kind of like moving from Instagram to TikTok, and it's her like basically just like taking like changing her hair, changing into like a sweatshirt, like putting her glasses on and stuff like that. And then it's like, welcome to TikTok, where you can be yourself, right? And I feel like that's essentially it, right? And I think what the beauty is with TikTok is that it gives us a chance to kind of explore what being ourself is, you know, like even for me, like even being able to kind of play with more of like the silliness, the playfulness, even like intentionally playing with the cuteness. Like I think like that's kind of like something that's kind of like fun to play with, is like kind of like thinking of like we as humans, like seriously, like if you're like, for everyone tuned into this broadcast, like you are cute. Like you are adorable. You are a cute, adorable human. And somehow we think that like we're not allowed to express that. But I think that's actually like a really important thing to just kind of like play with. Again, to kind of tap into kind of like that inner childlike energy, and to kind of like bring that forth. And again, just to be able to kind of like use it as a way just to be able to kind of like convey emotions and convey innocence, but to mix it up with like meaningful messages and stuff like that. So there's so many facets within ourselves that we can play with. And again, that's where like, yeah, for me within my content, there's going to be some videos where it's going to be like silly, and then there's going to be some videos where it's going to be like stoic, and then there's going to be some videos where it's just going to be kind of like very like logical, straightforward, then there's going to be some videos where it's going to be like, you know, talking about like heavier stuff or anything like that. So yeah, again, I am just like so impressed with what TikTok is. And at the same time, you're right, like we do have to be able to adapt. And I think right now, one of the most important things for us to do is to be able to synchronize as a team. And that's where, again, you know, for everybody here who's tuned into this broadcast, you are all doing a great job of like sharing your content, connecting. And so for everybody here, you know, post your profiles, connect with each other, pay attention to each other's content, and then like go out of your way, make sure you're commenting, and just again get into this habit of like celebrating the process of this creation. This is like an ongoing dance, an ongoing ceremony of soul, of spirit doing what it can to be able to see more of itself, to help itself wake up. So we're going to bring Kevin on in the next little minute, but again, Marbella, for any other people who maybe even like thinking about kind of like getting on TikTok to share some sort of inspirational message, or just like any sort of message that you have out there for the other creators, what are some of the things maybe that you've learned, or just like something that you want to be able to mention to help inspire the fellow creators out there?
I'd say the first thing, I'm actually trying to get my partner to get on TikTok as well. He's like a motivational person. He likes doing YouTube videos.
Nice.
He's super great on YouTube.
Nice.
And he just sees TikTok as like this kids play app. And I'm like, I don't think so. There's so many types of people on here that once you just get your eyes on the certain hashtags you want to focus on, I'd say ignore all of the random chaos going on and just go straight into the hashtags that interest you and start getting inspired by what it is that you're passionate about. And if you want to start out, just like get on the app and say hello. Bring in 3 random thoughts that are in your brain that you want to come across and share to people. It's that simple. And I think people need to understand that this is a platform where people will actually get to see you. I didn't think going in people were actually going to see me, but within the first couple of videos, I was like, what? 100 people already saw my video? What? That's insane. It was just like maybe 20 minutes after I had posted. I was like, okay, there's something here where we can actually get seen. And that's what I love about it. You
Yeah.
actually get seen in TikTok.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just being able to, again, like, know that within TikTok, like, these are real numbers. From what I can tell, these are real numbers compared to other platforms like Facebook, where it's like you do a Facebook Live and it's like, oh, it got like 2,000 views, but those aren't real views. Those are just people scrolling through. Whereas like with TikTok, every like, every comment, every follow, that's a real person investing a little bit of their attention and their focus towards you. And right now, like, that is like such a valuable thing that anybody can give you, is their attention, their focus. So that's where, again, you really feel like, kind of with what you're saying, just like the idea that here we are just creating a little message, and then suddenly it's like 100 people saw it. It's like, what if 100 people were in the room with you right now? How would that feel? And like, what would you say to them? How would you communicate to them? So again, you know, not getting caught up on the numbers, but really just kind of like being able to find gratitude, even for just like, you know, the start of what happens when you start creating your TikTok. And like what you already said, even what we talked about in the last broadcast, for those of you looking to get started, start off by finding things that inspire you. Search hashtags, search spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, light work, or things like that, or whatever else specifically you want to be able to look. Find other creators, see what they're doing, find styles that you can kind of even mimic. Again, you know, like I forget the actual phrase, but anyways, it's basically this idea that, you know, like, there's no new ideas under the sun, so be able to like kind of like do it within your own way is kind of like the purpose of the game. So like, if someone, like, that's the thing, like, even as I kind of explore other spiritual creators, I might see something where they might talk about specific content, and just because they talked about it doesn't mean I can't talk about it. Maybe I'm going to talk about it and kind of share it from my unique perspective and everything like that. So allow yourself to be inspired by creators, allow yourself to kind of like, you know, see something and then kind of add your own twist to it. And even just by being on TikTok and having this medium, it will really change the way you kind of think throughout your day. You'll be reading something from a book and you'll be like, oh, like that would be a great little gem. That'd be a great little nugget to create into a TikTok video. Or you'll see something funny and be like, oh, that's a great idea. So again, just having that channel, having that place as a conduit for our energy, has already just kind of like changed my life. And like, even like tomorrow, I'm actually excited to like make some new TikTok videos that I got in mind and everything like that. So I can just like kind of start building up this bank of ideas. And again, I think what's really cool with TikTok is the opportunity for us to be able to use humor. Humor is one of the most powerful forms of like medicine for getting a message across. So again, like, really encouraging everyone to kind of like bring in that improvisation, that comedy, that playfulness, that silliness. And again, I think like just doing that really brings in like kind of this lighthearted message that will really reach more people, because regardless of what your content is, your people will remember what your content was because of how it made them feel. So if you can create something that makes them smile, that makes them kind of connect with their heart, that makes them laugh, like, that will bring them back to you. They'll remember that. But again, find the style that works for you. So I'm going to bring Kevin on. Marbella, is there anything else you just want to mention real quick? Like, you'll still be on. It will just be the three of us talking for a bit. Is there anything else you want to say at the moment?
No, I'm good. I loved listening to all of that because it's so true. So, you know, get Kevin on here. I just started talking to him as well, so it'd be cool.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so Kevin, if you're tuned into the YouTube, that means we probably brought you on about 20 seconds ago because there's a bit of a delay. So bringing Kevin on now. All right, and then we'll wait a second because it will take him a moment to be able to get his microphone all set up. Hey, Kevin, if you're in the Zoom, you're probably able to hear me now once you pause the YouTube video. Kevin, can you hear me?
Sorry, were you talking to me? I was clicking around. Yeah. Yes, I can hear.
No worries. Yeah. I was saying like the delay on the feed caught up, but okay, cool.
Sorry, bro.
Sweet. All right, Kevin, we got you live on air now. So Kevin, thank you so much for joining in, and thank you for being one of our featured creators on the broadcast tonight. And so I'll just kind of pass the talking stick over to you. You know, like, here you are, again, fairly new to TikTok, inspired by our last broadcast to get onto it. And again, like, kind of like bringing your own style, your own niche. What's your experience been with TikTok? And even explain to us maybe how it kind of like, you know, how your expectations going into it might have shifted, and how you're enjoying it so far.
I love it. I'm a little mind blown by it. Marabella, by the way, hello, and thank you for your sharing. I found my way to you. Was it yesterday? I think.
Yeah, through the featured video. Yeah.
And the very first video that I clicked on, that I don't, just the way, Marabella, that you were communicating the energy and the intensity and the sincerity that was coming off of that was just, I didn't know, I didn't have any idea that there were things like that anywhere on the internet, especially on TikTok. And I've just been watching you, Brendon. You know, I because you stated your intention quite a while back of that, hey, I'm going to take this on. I think there's something here. I'm going to dive in. Watch me go. And I really respect that. And I really respect and love and admire how you are just the embodiment of we versus me. And being around you has helped settle my energy down. As you know, for anybody who's watching or listening, Brendon and I get to work together on an inspirational speaking event series where I'm the producer and host, and Brendon does the videography. And so he knows I can be a bit of a spaz. I'm 46, and I'm only probably, a handful of years into really kind of discovering what I would call my spiritual journey, and still really settling down. And I'm learning so much from Brendon, and love the co-creative relationship. And so, Brendon, because of you, I was watching and paying attention, and watching you destroyed a lot of my perceptions about what TikTok was, which I thought was just nonsense, was just kids making nonsense. And there is that. But what I found here, even in the last week to 10 days, is that I enjoy even that, because what I see is creativity, is expressing, is sharing. I haven't seen an ad yet. I haven't seen anybody interrupt my feed to try to get me into their funnel. I haven't seen anybody complaining about politics. I just see people having fun, celebrating, encouraging each other, and being themselves. And I'm feeling really stimulated by the learning, slightly overwhelmed, but having a lot of fun being overwhelmed.
That's awesome. Yeah, and again, like I agree. Like, after having kind of spent time on TikTok, it's really weird to kind of like get out of those waters and to go back onto Facebook. And I scroll through my Facebooks, and I'm like, depressing. And then I'm just like, like, I honestly, like, I go periods where I like literally forget to check my Facebook. It's just kind of like a habit that I do here and there. But I'm naturally finding myself just kind of like spending time having fun, appreciating the content that is being created on TikTok. Like, it's kind of it's what's powerful with TikTok is that, again, it's our voice. Like, it is our voice. It is not a news corporation. It is not some multi-million-dollar corporation or something like that. It is the voice of the people. And again, you get to kind of define your network. So if you're just watching, like purely interested in cooking tutorials, then that will be your network. But again, you get to kind of work with this advanced intelligent algorithm where it will basically kind of like refine it. And you're just like, here's what I want. Here's my frequency. And it will kind of keep delivering. And again, like, that's where, like, even as I'm just doing this, like, I'm just kind of like checking out things on my TikTok right now and everything like that. If I were just like swiping up here, like, look, oh sweet, you guys can't see this, but on YouTube right now, here's a new profile talking about Alan Watts. This person has 125,000 followers. I have not heard of them yet. I'm going to follow them, screenshot it, and check it for later. And that may be someone who I might reach out to and might be able to invite back into the team here. But again, it's like, here we have all these people. Like, why is that person sharing, like, inspirational content about Alan Watts, other than the fact that Alan Watts has helped change their life, and they want to be able to share that with others so that more people can do that? Because I think, again, like, within our heart, it is our nature to want to help each other, and TikTok is a great place for us to be able to practice that, especially right now where it's like we can't go down to our local community centers. We can't like go help like walk our neighbor's dog quite in the same way. But it's like, I want to be, even for me, it's like I can't go out and do free hugs and anything like that, but I can still help people. I can still create meaningful connection. I can still create meaningful content. I can still plant seeds within their heart. So again, I think TikTok is kind of like filling this natural desire within our heart to be able to assist each other. And yes, people are building businesses and building brands and building you know, stuff as an entrepreneur, but again, I think it's giving us a chance to be able to do it in a very much more genuine way, and it doesn't feel like it's like any kind of, with what Kevin was saying, like there's no kind of like sliminess or anything to it. Like if you're on TikTok, you are on there because you can't be anything other than your authentic self. And if you are something that other than your authentic self, you'll probably attract people who might vibe with that, but essentially like I just can't see that really kind of like lasting or anything like that. So I mean, again, it's a very, very beautiful platform. Like that's honestly and like any platform, you know, it's got its own cringe and it's got its own niches and everything like that. It really just depends on how you look at it. So again, I think with a lot of people, where previously they were under this notion that it's just like, oh, it's just, you know, like people dancing and it's just very superficial, and there is still that, but here we are using it as a tool. TikTok in itself is neutral, and how we choose to use it is how we will be able to decide what it becomes. And so again, I think like the fact that I've kind of jumped on it and the fact that, you know, other people are jumping on it is naturally just kind of like consciousness kind of like naturally being pulled towards this medium that is very much in alignment with our natural form of creative expression, which is visual, which is storytelling, which is music. Like the fact that music is such a big part of it is really cool, because again, I think music is like a very powerful way of conveying emotion and conveying like ideas and stories and everything like that. So it just really makes it easier, where it's like, here's a song, boom, start dancing, and then people can just kind of like add their energy to it. So yeah, like again, you know, like regardless of thinking about like, you know, like whether TikTok's like may or may not be like owned by some sort of like conspiratorial like agenda or things like that, like honestly, like maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but regardless, let's use it as a tool in a way that we want to be able to do for like the betterment of humanity. And that's honestly what I've seen. Like I've seen, because of TikTok, the world has become a better place, because of the connections, because of the seeds, because of the people who are for the first time maybe having an opportunity to meet other people who are also on this shared spiritual journey. And again, I think that's where for a lot of people, you know, like that's part of the challenge within their awakening of consciousness, is that isolation, that feeling alone. And now suddenly they see a face and there's like, oh, that person reminds me of me, and I can actually connect to them and I can reach out to them and even develop like a friendship with them. Like that's incredibly powerful. So again, I see TikTok as like this, like it's a gift, man. Like maybe it was made by aliens or something like that. I don't know, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, who knows? And it'll be interesting kind of with what Marbella was saying, to think about, you know, like what will be the future of conscious media platforms. And I think if we start playing with this now, we are getting ourselves ready. We are preparing ourselves for what may still be ahead of us. So yeah, let's just kind of keep chatting a little bit more, but we'll get close to wrapping this up in the next little bit. Marbella, did you want to kind of like jump in? Obviously we've kind of like mentioned a few things at this point. We're practicing having conversation about, you know, like the intentions behind creating conscious content, what we're trying to do, you know, what we're excited about creating. So Marbella, I'll pass it over to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things you didn't point out that I was wondering about, you know, there's a good point mentioning neutrality, because I kind of have noticed that I don't really see things as good or bad anymore, right or wrong. I've kind of found things either comfortable or uncomfortable, and I choose to work through the uncomfortable and not settling at the comfortable either. And so I've found TikTok to really push me where I was uncomfortable and kind of get myself to grow more expressing myself. So I've seen TikTok as something that's really helped me, and being more open with who I was and just like not caring what anyone else would think. And actually going through that initial fear of like, oh, what is this going to make me look like? Uh, there's like so many people just completely resonating. And I have looked at stuff that I was so afraid that if I did that, I would get judged. And I saw other people doing it, you know, writing out light language, you know, doing automatic drawing. And I was like, whoa, I've been doing that my whole life. And other people are putting it publicly. That's acceptable. So I felt more comfortable myself from other people sharing themselves. And so I found that very helpful.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome. And again, I love the idea that again, like we're bringing these like very kind of like fringe esoteric things, but we're doing it in a way where it's just like we don't have to hide it. Like, we don't have to hide it anymore, you know, because there are other people that are going to resonate with it. There are other people that are interested in it. Literally, just as we were doing this, I was literally just kind of like scrolling through my my For You page, and like, again, like, because of what I've been following, like, my TikTok has turned into this like synchronicity machine that is connecting me with creators like instantly. And the thing is, like, there's more creators than I can count at this point. Like that's kind of like the message of hope for the people out there. As much as, like, you know, 3 of us are here and however many people are tuned into live chat, like, there's literally thousands of people across the world right now who are hearing this call to be able to use the power of art, use the power of conscious content, to be able to inspire people, to, again, like, literally ignite something within them, to ignite them on their own journey. And again, just as like I'm scrolling here, for those of you who are just seeing my scrolling, here's an account that I found, and this guy was like talking about manifestation, thoughts becoming things. Again, a full account all about manifestation. Andrew Namaste, never heard of him, just screenshot it. I'll probably send him a message on Instagram, talking all about, like, he's got some like cool hippie vibes. Another one I flipped down, and then there's a guy talking here about like reishi mushrooms and like the power of like medicinal mushrooms. I'm just gonna scroll past here just for like a couple more seconds. That's a light seller, and CELLAR, and I'm just gonna scroll here and just kind of like see again, just like how soon until, is this one like literally, oh wow, okay, here's like a tutorial on how to make DMT on TikTok. I'm just gonna screenshot that there and just save that for later. So that may or may not stay on the content. Again, you know, like, there's some stuff that you can't post. Here's one. So this is Bijan. So Bijan, I actually sent him a message. Another conscious creator. He's actually probably going to be on future broadcasts. So again, Bijan, you guys can check him out there. BIJANPOUSTI. Again, like, just showing how powerful this is, to be able to just connect us as creators. Here's another one. Spirit hacking, learning how to like do dreams and everything like that. So yeah, again, just like so cool the way how, again, like, TikTok is like this like advanced learning technology in itself, which is like part of the reason of like how, again, using the hashtags is so important, and it sees what you're watching, it sees what you're liking, and it gives you more of that. And it's very organic. It's very just kind of like, yeah, it's really cool. I'm loving it. And again, I'm just excited about the fact that there's like so many other creators out there that we're just starting to connect with, and that, you know, they're people that we can just kind of like start celebrating the creation of their content as well. So with that said, I want to just be able to invite people in the comments. If you guys have any questions for Marbella or for Kevin or for myself, go ahead, leave those in the comments, and we're going to wrap this up probably in about 15 minutes. But yeah, Kevin, any other thoughts in terms of like, you know, what are your intentions for what you want to be able to bring to TikTok? And the one thing that I'll just say that's really important for all of us to kind of think is that through the process of creating, whether it be TikTok or otherwise, that in itself actually helps us grow. Like, the process of investing our energy into this creative act literally is something that will help us continue to meet more of ourselves. You know, it's kind of like this thing where it's like you didn't realize what you were capable of producing until you were kind of given permission to produce it. And so again, it's like, this is kind of a funny way to think about it, but I've thought about this way in another context. We as humans, our job, like, one of the things that we do like over and over again is like birth things. We literally birth things into existence. Things come out of us because, like, within inside of us, it's like there's like these infinite portals to creative realms, and then they come out of us. They come out of us in the form of art. They come out of us in the form of our actions. So I think it's really cool to, again, kind of be in that place where we're just kind of like, dear universe, what do you want me to birth? What do you want to come through me? And like, our higher selves, our guides, the universe, the collective, it's literally just kind of like, here's some inspiration, what we acknowledge as inspiration, and then boom, we create like a piece of art. And again, when we start creating art, it allows us to build this confidence and to start getting better at doing it. And then that way, you know, like, I said this before, even when I started creating YouTube videos back in, 2009, I knew that then I was creating videos then to be able to get me ready for the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video. So I think where a lot of people, they struggle is they're just like, oh, they see the people who've been doing it for years and they're just like, I can't compare to that. But we all have to kind of start somewhere, and to really approach it from a point of view of practice and of play, and again, just kind of reminding yourself like what it is that you're just like hoping to be able to share with the audience, and really just having fun with it. So again, Kevin, I'll pass it back to you, kind of just going back to that question of like, what are you excited about being able to like create more of within the TikTok ecosystem? What do you want to be able to like bring to your audience, and what messages do you want them to hear?
Well, I'm seeing that I can do on TikTok more of what I do with Mo Mondays London, and which is the event series I host, as Brendon knows, because we work together with it. And it is uplifting and inspiring other people through a shared example of continual growth. I kind of use myself as a bit of a guinea pig. I joked in the comments of the YouTube broadcast earlier that I'm kind of the old guy around here, and it's true. My kids started kind of making fun of me and teasing me by coming into TikTok. They're like, what are you going to do, Dad? Like, you're old. But they're not laughing now, because I've been sharing about what Brendon's been doing, and what some of the, my videos are less than 100, or, between 100 and 200, but it just started this week. And to Marabella's point, I mean, I can't get that kind of engagement on Instagram or Facebook. It's like bashing your head against the bricks. But I've also, something, Marbella, that you shared really resonated with me, which was to get into it, and then to sort of get your feet wet and see what it is, and then maybe make some adjustments and open it up. I thought I needed to have an angle, and I'll just share openly with everyone, as I thought my thing will be, that I'm going to share all the things in the form of what I wish I'd known when I was younger, or understood much earlier in my journey, which is still true of just about everything that I share. But I thought I was going to be positioning where I'm like this older dude on TikTok speaking to younger people. So I was thinking I can maybe be more of like a laid back, more modern Mr. Rogers, because what I'm doing, I don't really want it to be about me. I want to share something that I've learned or discovered or am working on for other people's benefit, so that they can filter that through their own perspective, and hopefully it will be meaningful to them, because that's what I do with my online community, and with the Mo Mondays speeches and keynote speaking and things like that. But what I think I've quickly discovered within 3 or 4 days is I don't need to be anybody but myself. I don't have to talk to kids. I just need to share as I would anywhere. And most of the people who connect with me are women, typically between about 40 and 55 to 60 years of age. And I didn't think any of them were on TikTok, but I'm finding out otherwise. And I also want to say and to share that if you see any of my videos where I'm on stage speaking, the most recent video that I just posted is of that. The camera work is done by Brendon. So there's like this kinetic energy that even as I was working on that, Brendon, I think I was messaging you where I was like, oh, I gotta reformat it, because the regular format is like 16:9, but to stretch it out for TikTok, like right like this, I'm moving like in and out of the frame. But the way that you shot it, to me, even adds more of the kinetic energy. And I really enjoy the collaboration too, of seeing what other people are doing. Like Brendon, the other day, you messaged me. See, it's fun for me, because at the event series that Brendon and I work on together, I'm the one who's responsible for that. So I'm usually the one who's yipping at him, let's do this, let's do that, let's not do this, let's not do that. And he has to put up with me. Here, the roles have completely been reversed, and I'm following along, and he's mentoring me and pushing me along and sort of keeping me between the ditches. And he'll send me a note and say, hey, I see what you're doing. Good job with this. Maybe pay attention to that. And one of the things, Brendon, was you're like, okay, I see what you're doing. I like it. Good job. Make sure to mix in some shorter ones here too. Do some 15-second videos. I was like, okay, what can I do? And it was the first or second night after I'd started. And I thought maybe I'll base it on a song. So I took a 15-second clip of a song from a band that I really love. And I thought, how can I create something based on that? and had also seen you share about somebody who was kind of looking at the text as it popped up. Anyway, long story short, I stayed up 2 hours later than I meant to. I'm leaning across my bed trying to figure this thing out, and just made this 15-second video about what I thought it meant to love yourself. When people would talk about self-love or love yourself, I always took that to mean that you were selfish or narcissistic or conceited. But then I found out the hard way that, you know, the only one that could, the song I used is a song called Wholehearted, that the only one that could fill the hole in my heart was myself, about self-love. But I got playing around with the filters so that I was trying to learn how to look and then place the text in. So I feel stimulated by this, even though I don't know what I'm doing, the figuring it out is like being in the sandbox like a kid again. And then when the filters, I had like the first, I don't know, 8 or 9 seconds is in sort of black and white. I can't remember what filter it's called. And then the last half part where it says, you know, I learned basically how to love myself. It switches filters to, it's called like 70s TV or something like that, where it turns to color, but the image is still sort of unstable, just kind of like me. That again, I don't know whether that will mean anything to anybody else, but as I'm leaning across my bed at midnight when I should have been in bed 10 or 2 hours before, I'm sitting here giggling, thinking this is so much fun. And I think that's a real gift, to your point, Brendon, and even more so the fact that I wouldn't even have been exploring trying to do that if you hadn't have jumped in and go like, hey, Kev, like, I love what you're doing. Good job. Try this too. Try that. And then I see a whole universe of that with TikTok. So it's pretty neat, man. It's almost abrasive now to look at any of the other channels. I'm like, Instagram, I've never been able to really get any traction with you. I've tried so hard, but I think we're done. It's not me, it's you. So anyway, but the other thing I think might be interesting is to see as I'm able to grow some connections and community, will that translate into any of the other platforms? So I don't plan on abandoning any of those, even though other than Facebook and LinkedIn, I've never really succeeded at creating much of a community on YouTube or Instagram, despite my efforts. So I'll be interested to see how that matures as it goes forward too.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool, man. And again, I think with TikTok, we're still learning things. Marbella, you can probably let go of your microphone, by the way, if your arm's getting tired or something. I think it's fine. Yeah.
Like a support system here.
Oh, you do? Okay, you're good. Because I think it will sound fine even with you not holding it. I'll pass it to you in a second. But again, what I was going to say is that, you know, like, again, with TikTok, we're kind of in this stage where it's still very new. Like, we're still learning. And one of the things that I'm really excited, even just with TikTok, but other platforms, is finding ways to use the platform in ways no one else has yet. You know, like, and again, that's kind of like what I was doing when I was like making that video where I was like giving like the shout outs to the other creators specifically within the video. I'd never seen anyone do that. So this is where, again, you know, like, I get really excited about the idea of us being able to create time for us to start collaborating. You know, like, what happens if we start making videos where we start like appearing in each other's videos, if we're exchanging footage, or we create like conversations where it's like, here's the script, film this, I'm gonna take this, edit this, and we coordinate it and we create it together in like a little way. So there's so much opportunity for us to be able to begin utilizing this platform in ways that I don't think people have yet, and that really kind of gets the creative gears rolling. And again, I think what's also cool, and Kevin, this is like a little bit of tip for you and for everyone, is that, again, you know, content that we're creating on TikTok, and you're doing this already, it can literally, like, you know, you create it for TikTok, but then you can kind of like refurbish it into your other social media platforms. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. We're like, TikTok is like kind of like where things are landing first, and then they kind of trickle down into Instagram and into Facebook, and then to make sure that, like, even when we're posting it on Facebook and Instagram, to make sure that we're like verbally giving the call to action for people to be like, if you're on TikTok, make sure you're following me here. Because I noticed even with yours, Kevin, like, you're sharing the videos, but it doesn't have like, here's a link for my TikTok.
Can I ask you about that? Sorry to interrupt.
Go for it. Yeah. No, that's fine. Because
TikTok is here, old guy question. TikTok's like, it's on the app, right? Like, you can't really access it on a web browser, sort of like
you can.
Can you? Okay, so I've been confused about the link, so I'll start doing that. And I also just wanted to jump in with what you were just talking about, Brendon. You know a guy named W.T. Hamilton,
right? Yeah.
And so I had reached out to him yesterday, going like, brother, you've got to get this is tailor made for you, but other the other thing that just sparked that is that I'm thinking, okay, there's some trending stuff, some sort of sillier stuff, some duet type stuff. There's maybe that's an opportunity to bring other people in and create, like collaborate. And so part of my pitch to WT was get on there, you start building your channel, I'll start building mine. We'll do like a sub series of stuff where we're co-create together, almost like this sub series. And that's really stimulating too, because I think you're just talking about that, of like being sparked to think about other people, that you're like, let's figure some stuff out. Well, what are we going to figure? I don't know. We'll know it when we see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Cool. Marbella, did you want to jump in? I feel like, I mean, we've talked about a few things, but go ahead.
There was had a couple ideas, because that's exactly what I actually wanted to do. You know, these little tiny, maybe scripted, or just like duetting, or actually reacting to, because you can have an option where your voice gets to come through in someone else's video if you react to it. You know, if for people who want to talk a little more about themselves or their spiritual journey, like there could be like, you could have these questions where you just say, you know, describe your first spiritual awakening in like 5 words, and then people actually, you like leave like some empty space, and then other people have a chance to like fill in the dialogue, and then you get to the next question. It could have a discussion. It could, you know, this could be opened up for people to talk about different things that were seen as scary in the past, like opening your third eye, or, you know, having a connection to spirits and things like that. So it's like we need to start normalizing the multi-dimensional, because it's not scary. And I think that's the only reason why it was because we would hear all these stories that were mostly corrupted from religion, or, you know, seen as something that would be just kept going my mind going back to those, like the witch trials. It's like, you used to be persecuted in the past for talking about things like this, but we don't live in that world anymore. We have the freedom now to talk about it and act it and live it out.
No, that's great. And again, like that's like, again, something I've always been really passionate about, and something that I feel is always really important, is again creating those sacred spaces, be they physical or digital, for people to practice communicating about the things they don't normally get a chance to talk about, related to metaphysics, spirituality, and consciousness, etc. And so I think it's really cool to be able to think about, how can I create content that is basically going to create a call to action for people to comment down below, for them to practice, you know, create a video where it's just kind of be like, you know what really trips me out? Dreams. Like, dreams are so trippy. Have you ever had a dream like this? What's the weirdest dream, or what's like the most memorable dream that you've had? Leave a comment down below. And then, like, again, like maybe we can find ways where it's like we're taking those comments and then we're implementing them into future videos. We're really kind of like honoring the people who are engaging. So those are just kind of some of the ideas and how we can kind of begin interacting with the community in new ways. Again, and even just doing lives on TikTok is very powerful. As far as I know, once you have 1,000 followers, you can start doing lives on TikTok. So that's kind of like something to work towards. And I've been finding just doing lives on TikTok has been, again, like the way how I'm kind of like approaching things is like, okay, I'm going to create like cool content with the intention of quality, to be able to help share a message, but also to be able to help invite people back to the community that we're building, and also to be able to tune in for our team meditations as well. Because it's like, out of that, it just kind of like deepens the relationship, so that I know that like within the content I'm creating, you know, it might reach, some videos might reach like 20,000 people, but then out of that, maybe like if there's like 50 or even 100 people that are going to like go to my YouTube channel afterwards and listen to a meditation and tune in for these broadcasts, like that's like really, really cool. That's part of my objective. So again, it's like, how can we be these conduits for this intention? How can we expand our branches so that it can reach more people? So again, it's like being an ambassador for that like higher intention of what it is that we're trying to bring people back to. Another idea that I had in terms of content, that I've seen this done once, and I've seen it done on a couple platforms in a couple different ways, but I want to try doing this with some video editing, where basically it would be something where it would involve telling the viewer to take a screenshot of the video as it's kind of like flashing through like one frame images of like different things. So those things could literally be like words, or it could be, for example, this is where I've seen this, it could be like a tarot card. So it's like literally like the instructions would be written on the top, and it'd be like screenshot to be able to get your tarot card for the day, or to like screenshot to be able to like call in some sort of like affirmation or something. And so it'd be like something would be like I am this and da 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 da, and then from there you would screenshot it, and then it would be like I am manifesting da 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 da, and then you screenshot it. And so the synchronicity of that would just allow it to kind of, it's like you're using the app in a way that's almost like a game. It's kind of a little bit different. So again, that's just kind of some of the ideas. But yeah, just as we're kind of like brainstorming here, we're going to get close to wrapping this broadcast up within the next 5 hours, give or take. But just kind of for you guys here, just brainstorming, like literally using this space right now to brainstorm.
Yes.
Let's just kind of think, you know, what are some other ways that we could creatively start using this app that maybe, you know, we haven't seen, or you know, just any ideas. Marbella, did you want to?
Yeah, I think I would like us to do one of those. Have you seen those makeup brush, you know, where they show their community of people? They're like, no, they're like their regular self, and then they have a makeup brush that comes out of nowhere, and they like hit the camera, and then they suddenly transform into who they are. And well,
I haven't seen that. Right? I haven't seen that meme. You just like turned the light off there. What happened?
My laptop is so terrible with the camera lighting. But yeah, I will link one to you, and we have to do that with our Lightworker community so that we can show who we are, and kind of in a most like fun and a little bit like a show style, so that people can really be like, oh, I'm them, that looks really cool, I want to do something similar. So
yeah, I agree. Like I think what the community, again, kind of going back to this question where again, I think it really helps us orient it, is kind of asking that question, what is needed? Like asking spirit that question, like what is needed for the community as we're kind of like continuing to move forward. And again, and that's where like I think what is needed right now is the idea for like people within the wider audience community to actually be seeing us collaborating as a team. For whereas like previously, you know, it's like there's all these individual creators, and that's just kind of how it's been, and as far as you know, they don't know each other, you know, it's like here's one, here's two, and they're just doing their separate things. But what happens when the audience starts kind of like tuning into what it is that we're creating here, and they're like, hey, I follow that person, I follow that person, I follow, and now they're collaborating, and now they're kind of coming together. So again, for me, this is where I really get excited about what is the bigger story that we are creating here. And that's where like I think one thing to keep in mind with TikTok is not just like, okay, you're creating one video and that's done, but to actually think about what is your overarching narrative. Like, who are you as like almost like, again, yourself, but also a character that you're kind of like sharing over parts. And maybe again, like you could literally do something where it is like, you know, like you're verbally explaining, like, you know, like here's like part one, or it's again, it's like literally an introduction to yourself, and then it's just kind of like you are that story. But again, it also gives you this element to kind of like weave in this narrative creativity. So again, like what is our story? Like our story is again this like light workers coming together. So how can I kind of create content where it's like really hyping that up? And that may be something where like, again, just me talking about it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I could see that. Like, you know, make a cool video, like use a soundtrack from the Avengers, something people already associate with superheroes, create some cool dialogue, put on my Spider-Man suit, talk to the camera, and make it a call to action, and be like, if you're watching this, like you're one of us, like you're here for this shift in consciousness. And so like call to action, you know, like join our team chat, join in for our next full moon meditation, join in for our future team broadcast. And then again, out of that, like people get these opportunities to be able to connect, which are incredibly powerful for their spiritual well-being, and again just ripples that out further into the wider community. So again, just kind of going back to the idea, you know, like what are some cool ways that we can just kind of start thinking about, like fun content, creative ways to use the platform that people haven't been using. And yeah, like even again, like me doing those like energy graphic videos, like I think I was the first one to do that. Like I don't know, I'm not saying I am, but I had never seen anyone do that to quite the extent where it was like that degree of special editing and stuff like that. So again, there's still, that's the thing, like the platform's still so new, and what I get excited about it is that there is like unlimited things for us to create, because we are tapped into an unlimited source of creativity. So as long as we have this channel, there is going to be a new piece of content for us to be able to create, like, you know, like every single day type thing. So yeah, so again, I think at this point is kind of finding that balance between like practicing creating but also focusing on the quality of what it is we're creating, so that we create those like impressions where people, you know, people will see you and they'll just be like, oh, this stands out, this is like really speaking to my heart. And so that's how, you know, bringing, like, it encourages us to kind of like bring that little bit of extra kind of like professionalism. And again, Marbella, I think you're the recent one that you did of like kind of like the POV of the new age family, like the fact that you took the time to like dress up, there was costume, there was coordination and things like that. Like, you could tell there was production, you could tell there was love put into that. And again, and also with Kevin, like, you can see Kevin, he's like adding like specific music, you can tell like you're just kind of like fleshing out a little bit more of like what it is that you are on this platform. So yeah, again, just kind of like riffing off here, what do you guys think in terms of like things that we can create on this platform?
Can I jump in?
Other ways we can do this? Yeah, go for it, Kevin. Yeah,
because what I'm sitting here thinking about is the energy, and then you touched on that video that you did, and I'm wondering if there's some way to visually represent the transference of energy. And I'm wondering about how many people can we sync up and get, like, there's some filters that'll split things into like infinite amount of things on the screen. I'm also thinking about Brendon, that time at Mo Mondays when Jenna had us all, everyone in the room where we were presenting, connect, and then we lit up this energy stick or something like that. But my point is that the video where you were, it had the solfeggio frequency or whatever it was that you used, the binaural beat, I can't remember what it was, but there was an energy coming off that. Marabella, when I went and I connected with you and you were doing a light language thing, it sat me right up in my chair. There was an energy coming off that. Tonight, when you started the broadcast, I went to One Love's channel, and within the first 5 seconds of the first video that I clicked on of his, I was like, whoa, like you can feel it, I think. And especially now when we're physically separated, to somehow encourage, show that transference of energy. Am I the only one who's feeling that?
No, you're not alone. I think that what you started talking about earlier, you feel like you got so excited middle of the night, you know, putting in all your little pieces into making this one video. It's a part of our soul is going into the video, you know, our energy, our effort is going and infusing in with the technology. And I think that's what I feel also from your, Brendon, from your videos. It's like, you know, I was looking into your eyes, I could really feel the telepathic messages coming from it. I was like, whoa, I'm actually really connecting. You know, people, you can feel the energy through technology. That's why Reiki is done long distance. Like, you can send as soon as you connect. And so I think that's the intention when you're doing this energy work with TikTok. You're setting your mind and energy into the technology, and the people can feel it. And so that's something that does need to be emphasized. So maybe we could even do like a collaboration video with how to bridge energy, or just making a discussion with energy and technology, because everything's connected. So that'd be a really cool collaboration we could probably think of doing.
Yeah, one thing, I think I mentioned this last broadcast, something that I'll actually do it within this next week, and you know, other people can kind of do this too. But again, similar to the Reiki videos that I was doing, where it's like, here's me sending energy, what I want to be able to do is kind of like make a video and add some special production to it, where it would basically be like, this video is a global synchronized meditation, and if you take time to meditate while watching this video and with the frequencies, you are actually tapping into this collective intentional meditation that is happening beyond space and time. And it would just be with some basic instructions on text. So it would just be like, sit comfortably, breathe, focus on like pouring love into the heart of the earth. Like, I'll figure out some way to be able to explain it simply, but then literally just like the idea of like, if I can create that to such a degree where it's like professionally produced and it goes viral, that would basically create this system where there would be like a global synchronized meditation happening ongoing, right? So like, that's kind of like a cool thing to just kind of hypothesize. And then again, it kind of like gets into this idea, like we're doing things where it's like stuff like this has like never been done before, but we're really starting to tap into kind of like the esoteric ideas of like the power of thought, you know, the power of mindfulness, the power of shared intention. So again, for me, as a team of superheroes, it's like, yo, like that's like one of our superpower abilities. If we take time to meditate and focus our intention into the grid, into just like being able to help make this energy like more ripe so that people are tapping into it, is it making a difference? Like, as a question, asking yourself that. But even if it can make a difference, then it's worth doing, you know? Like, it's worth doing. Like, even if it's just like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but if it might be, given the circumstances of the world, I feel it is our responsibility to. And so again, it's kind of like helping like anchor in those energies. That's one of the way that I feel is kind of a good way of kind of explaining what's happening, is that, you know, more people are kind of like opening themselves up to these ideas and everything like that. And it's like there's like this energy that is just like looking to come through us. It is looking to come through us as like spires, as portals. And so by us being individual pillars, we help kind of anchor this energy so that it becomes more easily accessible to others. And then again, it's kind of weird because it's like, it's weird to think that like the things we're doing are having effects within this holographic matrix beyond our perception, but we kind of have to intuitively know that they are, that it is happening. And then it takes a little bit of trust, but it also takes like this kind of like deep heart wisdom. And again, and for me, it just kind of goes back to that where it's just kind of like, I feel called to do it. Like, I feel called to do it. Therefore, like, let's do it. And at the very least, it would just be kind of like a great way for, again, just like kind of community to kind of like gather around a common intention and a common theme. But again, you know, like, I think the work that we're doing, and when I say we, I mean everyone tuned into this broadcast, is actually like far more far reaching than we actually realize. It's like it's further reaching than just the people who are seeing our videos, because it's like actually being like put into the ether, and then that energy becomes more available. And again, that, you know, call it the 100th monkey effect, whatever you want to think of it as. I think that's an easy way of explaining it. But yeah, like, more and more people are starting to wake up right now, and that is because like we have been priming the waters, you know, a lot of us. And it's not to say like, oh, it's because of us, but no, it's just because we're doing our part. We're a part of an ecosystem, and we're doing our nature. Like, this is us doing us, and then the side effects just naturally unfold. Marbella, go ahead, you can jump in on that.
That's exactly what it is. You know, people, you might be wondering, well, is this even going to make an effect? And the question is, there might be a question, but physics is even showing with the way that reality is constructed, you know, we're this tiny particle that's connected to this like major grid system. We create ripple effects. If you're doing the inner work, it just opens up the opportunity for other people to start getting these ideas. If you have an idea, it's going to start rippling out. That's why being more conscious of the way you're thinking, what you're absorbing, what you're consuming is, you know, taking an effect on what you're broadcasting out, you know, because in the past, I feel like even in the 50s, there's so much that was being broadcasted out that was manipulated. You know, everything was being brainwashed. We're all being set to a certain narrative. And now I feel like TikTok is a place where we can put our ideas out there to like send that ripple wave of what we want consciously to attract, manifest, and put out there. Because there's just so much that, you know, we have to give. And right now people are feeling the call. And you were saying thousands upon thousands of people. I've seen like 100,000 witches on TikTok. It's insane. And I know the light worker community is out there. And I know even within the witch community on there, a lot of them are light workers as well. So we need to continue spreading that as well. So it's happening. It's gonna happen. It's normalizing now.
Yeah, no, this is a very beautiful time to be alive. And again, just reminding ourselves that like the technology we're using, it's still us, it's still consciousness. It's like the connection between the neurons in this, we're like a giant brain right now. So again, like, let's practice kind of like rewiring the shape and the structure of that brain. And again, you know, like, I think it's almost kind of like beyond words, just kind of like the scope of what is happening right now. But again, just reminding everybody here that like your intentions matter, your presence matters, your art matters. And again, like, people are gonna make their impact in a variety of ways. And again, with everybody listening to this, if you feel called to start creating on TikTok, absolutely, invitation's there. But at the same time, do not feel that your value is determined by whether or not you're on TikTok. Your value is simply you being you. And if you being you means, hey, right now, like, I'm just kind of like taking care of myself, maybe I'm just like developing new routines, maybe I'm changing my diet, maybe I'm healing some things, maybe I'm just kind of doing a lot of research and everything like that, absolutely, like, do that. Like, invest in yourself. Now is the time to invest in yourself. And then naturally, as you kind of do this, again, you're kind of priming yourself. And then when you feel the call to just be like, okay, like, I feel like I want to start playing, I want to start putting something out there, I want to, and it's a very special feeling to create something and then for someone to come along and to say, hey, I appreciate that, like, that was meaningful to me. And then it only takes that one time for you to just kind of realize, like, wow, like, what I'm creating here is actually, like, bigger than me. Because when you create something and then synchronistically someone just happens to find it and they're just like, wow, I needed to hear this, that just kind of ties back into the idea of, like, how interconnected we are. Like, even just the one of the videos that I made earlier this week, where it was like a video kind of about, like, a spiritual secret about relationships and love. Like, that was just kind of something where I'm just like, I feel like there's probably some people out here that would benefit by hearing this today. And so I literally put it out there, and then, like, lo and behold, you know, like, there's like hundreds of comments of people that are just like, I needed to hear this. And that's happened with a lot of my content, where, again, I think as we kind of evolve as creators, one of the things we can actually kind of get good at is, again, kind of like tapping into the weather, the spiritual weather, the hive mind. And so, again, you kind of get into, like, this intuitive process where it's just kind of like, okay, like, what do I need to bring through today? What do I need to create today? And sometimes it's like, it's your choice, because it's your choice to kind of just be like, screw that, I don't want to do it. It's your choice to walk away from it. That's your free will. Your choice is, right now, you could delete your TikTok account. You could take your laptop and throw it out a window. You could do that. You could walk away from this. But when you're in it, like, again, it's kind of like allowing, like, this, like, inner will to kind of, like, work through you, and then to see yourself as a conduit, but also to, like, see yourself, like, as an active co-creator, as an active participant within that, again, that birthing process, right? Like how are we going to birth these ideas into the world? And again, knowing that when we do this, lo and behold, there will be people that were just like, whoa, like, this was the water that I needed for my heart today. You know, like, and I was using that phrase earlier on the meditations video today, like, you, everyone tune into this, like, you are water for a thirsty world. The world needs more inspirational, intentional, positive, mindful content. It needs it. It literally needs it. So you are filling a need. You are doing something that is nurturing people's hearts, and you are changing lives. Like, literally, we are changing lives. And I think just knowing that we do that is, like, something where it's like, you know, like, we wake up in the morning and it inspires us to keep on doing it. And why do we want to do it? Because we want the best for everyone. You know, we want the best for the world. We want the best, not even just for tomorrow, but, like, the future generations. So it's interesting to think that, like, what we are doing right now is creating the circles and the space and the environment that is going to be able to create, like, a more harmonious relationship 10 years from now. When my children come into this world, like, I want them to be in a space where, you know, like, the concept of a light worker and, you know, like, energy and spirituality and consciousness is actually something that's, like, integrated into their understanding of reality, even just from a young age. So again, like, by us normalizing things here, again, this is literally shifting the paradigms. And again, it's just, like, continuing to build this wave that's it's all around the world right now, and it's happening everywhere. So there's a very powerful story right now, and call it the Great Awakening, call it the Age of Aquarius, call it what you want, but, like, if you're tuned into this broadcast, you have a part to play in it. And that part that you are playing within it is, like, already written within your soul. So as you kind of take care of yourself, you will hear it speak to you. You will hear the calling. You will hear yourself be able to answer the question of, like, what can I do? And again, and you may surprise yourself. You may surprise yourself, because there's going to be a part of you that may be like, I'm too shy to start on TikTok. And acknowledge that, acknowledge where that's coming from. But we as a community are here to kind of hold you in a safe space where we are celebrating your creative endeavor. And whatever you create will be perfect, in the sense that it will be what you are creating that's going to be the step towards the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And again, you know, kind of like what we've talked about before, Kevin, like, you know, like, we don't have to think 50 steps ahead when we're only going to take one step at a time. So let's focus on just kind of like that one step at a time. So for those of you in the YouTube chat, thank you again for joining in. If you guys had any specific questions related to like conscious creation on TikTok, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I apologize if I haven't like read all the comments, but yeah, let's kind of get like wrapping up this broadcast, because I feel like obviously like we're excited. We're just like, oh, we're gonna stay here all night, but we can't. But we'll come back again and again, and we do have our team chat, so we'll be doing more collaboration there as well for the leading members. I wanted to just kind of give us an opportunity here to just kind of like share a little bit more of like, you know, like what are our intentions as we kind of like move forward here as creators, and just kind of practicing giving us that opportunity to hear what comes out of our heart when we say that. So Kevin or Marbella, if you guys want to jump in on that.
You wanted me to go first?
Go for it, Kevin. Yeah.
I just want to do what I can to help people see their own significance. I think it plays off, Marabella, what you shared a few minutes ago about understanding what and who we really are, all interconnected and part of a much larger source of energy. I think maybe my role is to bring that down into just the more like the generation that I'm from, the kind of stuff, Brendon, that you were just talking about, we never would have, like, would be like, huh? So I almost see myself as a bit of a bridge with people who, you know, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I'm in my mid 40s, and a lot of the people that I know are suffering, and they don't know that they're suffering. They just think this is just how life is. And when they hear people like us talking about who you really are, and I don't think that a lot of us know what that means. I didn't. When I first started getting into it, I would see people talking about, you know, their passion and their purpose and all of that kind of stuff, and living a life of abundance and manifestation. And I remember feeling like I was stumbling around in a dark room trying to find a light switch, that I just was like, I would happily, work ethics never been the issue. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Well, it doesn't work like that. You know, when it's more of a process and a journey of discovery and expansion. So I'm really hoping that I can inspire and encourage more people to go inside themselves and to look for and acknowledge and accept and celebrate what's real for them, not what I think they should do, or Marabella or Brendon or anybody else, but what resonates with them, and to really hold that in a place of honor, and then celebrate that, and then hopefully, to the point that you've been sharing, Brendon, share it share for all of our benefit, and for all the other people who are also, you know, aching, longing, wanting, wishing for what they don't know, but there's that energy there. I think that more and more people are becoming aware of and can taste, and I just love being connected with people like you that are helping people to access it. It's pretty great.
Awesome. Thank you as well, Kevin. And absolutely, Kevin, like, again, I think again, like, being someone who is kind of like coming in from, you know, like a little bit ahead of my time and everything like that, like, I think, and I mean that like in a very cool way, because again, like, I think your story, and I've seen this kind of at Mo Mondays, is something that like really reaches a niche of people who kind of have a similar story as you, where they've probably like lived into their 40s and they never really thought too much about spirituality and consciousness. So I feel like even for you, it's just kind of, I feel like you could almost like, and Kevin, I'm offering up an idea here, and feel free to play with it. I feel like you could kind of create a video where you could almost kind of like give it kind of like a car salesman approach or something like that, where it'd be like, are you over 40 years old and just starting to question your reality? Would you like to connect more with your heart? Has your entire life been a lie up to this point? Like, do you question your self-worth and the meaning of life? It's like, if you're like that, then you're probably like me, or you know, something like that.
What
like,
do
I could just see
to get you into a conscious awakening today.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell you like
your 0% financing MSRP on your spiritual
seriously
awakening. Yeah. That's
actually,
to your point. That's so many of us have been on autopilot. That we were sold the line that there's a script, there's a map, there's a plan. So when I use the term no schedule man, it's, you know, it's basically my own version of what's that old phrase of we make plans and God laughs. Like, here we are, who thought we were going to be stuck in this lockdown? And yet most of my contemporaries feel like, no, there's a way to do life. You know, you suck it up and you're responsible and you follow the
Yeah.
script and you paint inside the lines and you do all the things and then you're happy.
Yeah.
And then there are all these people who've been like me that did all those things and found out they're still friggin' miserable. So then you either start blaming everybody else or you think that you're flawed, or in my case, both. So yeah, it's a heck of an opportunity. When I look at TikTok, I see the future. I really do. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the next wave. And I feel like I'm late to it when I look around at other people who are doing, whether they're speakers or coaches or people who do something even somewhat similar to what I perceive myself to do, and the communities they've built. I'm like, holy cow, I'm late to the party. But to your point, Brendon, I'm also, you know, I feel like, and I've actually used the phrase, I feel like I've just walked into a party where I don't know anybody, because I'm looking around for the people that I do know, and none of them are on TikTok other than you guys. Like, so it seems like when we post one of our TikTok videos, maybe on Facebook or something like that, that we're being viewed almost like I feel like I'm being viewed as a bit of a curiosity. Like, what the hell's he doing? I'm like, I'm following Brendon to the ends of the earth is what I'm doing. You do your thing,
Kevin,
and I love you, but I'm going with Brendon.
One phrase that might help you, Kevin, is that there's one phrase that I use. It's like, the queen is never late. Everyone else is simply early. So you can use that in your own way. You know, Kevin the king is never late. Everyone else is simply early.
Oh, that's
you know, it just helps get back into the present moment, because, you know, time is such an illusion. You know, it's so irrelevant to how we actually move. And I think that's what I want to continue posting about on TikTok. You know, the way I feel like the only thing that it really is there is love, and, you know, and your relationship to fear. And that's one of the things that I started seeing a huge change in my life when I stopped choosing fear and I just kept choosing love. My life just changed a complete 360 degrees. It was amazing how the right people started coming into my life when I chose love and chose me. The right type of actually the synchronicity, like where I would need something, and because I chose myself, boom, it would come towards me. And I feel like that's the thing that in your generation, maybe Kevin, it wasn't prioritized. Love wasn't prioritized in the way where you had to choose yourself. You always had to sacrifice, and you always had to put yourself second. And I think that's what had led to a lot of suffering. And I think that's what you guys are realizing now, that it's not selfish to choose yourself. If anything, it's noble, because when you choose yourself, you're giving the other people the chance to see that they can choose themselves too. So if everyone just started choosing themselves and helping lift each other up, we're doing that. You know, that's the whole point, starting with the self. And it's probably said 1,000 times in different ways, but for me, it's just, you know, choosing love over fear. And it's okay to have fear too, just to move through it, move forward, you know, not, you know, away from it, because we have to face it, but just move with it if you have to, until you find that love that allows you to let it dissolve away. So yeah, that's one thing that is what I want to continue broadcasting into my TikToks, you know, the choosing of love. So
that's awesome. So beautiful. Hey, Brendon, I'm gonna tap out. But before I do, I want to just state how much I love you. I adore you. I respect you completely. I'm so lucky that we get the chance to collaborate here locally, and I miss it like crazy on the events that we do. How cool will it be to manifest something where we can connect with people like Marbella and those who are on the live stream and some of your leading members, and do events, maybe a Mo Mondays like event at some time, throw that into the process. And Marbella, I'm honored to connect with you and to meet you. I'm being very sincere with what I said about when I clicked onto your video. I immediately was like, whoa, whoa, like, okay, there's a high concentration of light and love and great energy, and that's really hopeful for someone like me. So it's my great honor, and I want to thank everybody that's watched and continues to encourage Brendon as well, because I love the guy. So, but I'm old and I'm going to go to bed.
Thanks.
You're well seasoned, Kevin. You're well seasoned.
I'm experienced. So thank you, and much love to you all.
Traveled many roads. Thank you, Kevin. We'll talk soon, dude.
Good night.
Much love.
Good night.
Awesome. Sweet. All right. Well, on that note, me and Marbella are gonna wrap it up here. But again, like obviously we're just talking here, and it just kind of keeps sparking new ideas. We keep talking about stuff, and again, I just kind of wanted to mention that, you know, like some of the things that I'm like most excited about is like, again, you know, there's like unlimited topics for us to be able to explore when it comes to being a conscious creator. But again, I think for me, I think back on my own spiritual journey, and I'm like, what were some of the dots that really started connecting for me? So I'm like, okay, like kind of with what you were saying, like, all right, I want to make a video like talking about like, you know, non-linear time and how I explain that. Okay, I want to take a practice like talking about dreams. I want to talk about like parallel realities. I want to talk about past lives. I want to talk about synchronicity. I want to talk about UFOs. I want to talk about Sasquatch and things like that. You know, like all of these things that I've spent all of these years kind of like studying and piecing together, there's people out there and they're going to be brand new to this. And so again, as much as we kind of carry information, we also kind of want to be mindful where we're not just like spewing too much out at people, but we're just kind of like pointing them and just kind of be like, get them curious, help encourage them to be able to connect a little bit further in some ways. So yeah, like as we move into the future, again, I feel like the intention for us to be able to carry is to acknowledge that, you know, through the power of media medicine, and being on TikTok and other platforms, we have the opportunity to literally be hope, to embody hope, to embody, and this is kind of, actually, we'll talk about this because we didn't talk about this, to embody kind of like a vibration of what we want our future to be, you know? So like we want our future to be one of mindfulness, one of compassion, one of like, you know, just like heart-centered connection, one of spiritual awareness and everything like that. So again, I think when people tune into our videos, I think maybe like even like in an unconscious way, they're almost kind of like resonating with what we're doing, because it's kind of like looking into the future. It's kind of like, oh, I want more of that. Like this is what society should be like, you know, like more kind of like kindness and mindfulness and meditation, and it's happening. It literally is happening. But yeah, Marbella, let's just kind of talk about that, and then we'll just wrap it up with some gratitude. But you going back to what I mentioned when I first showed one of your videos, you mentioned that to me, the idea of like anchoring in the vibration of the future in a playful way with our content. That's like that's
exactly
that's magic.
how I manifest. You know, that's how I teach manifestation. You have to clear the attachments to what it is that you want, and then you have to embody in the present moment with excitement, and also attach a frequency to it, like, you know, something that represents love, something that represents a vibration that feels whole and wholehearted, and then act that out in the present moment. And I'm resonating with that video I posted. Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, there's so many people resonating with that video that I posted about how, like, I wish my mom, you know, would be able to support me, or like, you know, they wouldn't judge me for saying spirit guides or something like that. And I was like, well, one day maybe you can be a mother figure for someone, even if you don't have children. You know, you can be that like support role right here, right now. That's a reality that we're anchoring in just by, you know, in the present moment of just like acting these scenes out. And I think that's something to be acknowledge right now, because you can bring in or shift into that reality if you start acting it in the present moment. People are wondering, like, what is up with all these ascended masters? You know, where are they? You know, have they abandoned us? It's like, no, we're here. It's within all of us. We're here to bring in that vibration.
Absolutely. And again, it's giving people permission, you know, it's giving people permission to kind of be able to be like, yo, like I can live this way, and I don't have to worry about being called weird or being called stupid or anything like that. Like we're creating a space where, again, you know, like people identifying as being multidimensional beings and having this spiritual connection is actually becoming normal. And it's crazy, because I mean, it's like this is where, again, like that idea of the whole like car salesman pitch idea for Kevin, I'm actually planning on doing that for like my own skit, where it's gonna be something like that. You did it so
well. I was like, you should I've planned something this out. Like it too.
It's gonna be something like that, but it's actually gonna be like the fifth dimension. It'll be like, are you tired of the third dimension? Are you tired for waiting for your manifestations? It's like, try the fifth dimension. I don't know. I just like, I'm just like, what would this be in like a South Park episode, and how can I kind of like reenact this? It's like South Park has like been an inspiration for me.
I was thinking the same thing for like time. I was like, are you tired of waiting for things to happen? You know, just hop into the fourth dimension, fast forward time, slow down time. You control all of it. Like, you know, make the intention.
Yeah, just get like really like goofy. But again, you know, I think it's great to kind of like look at old shows that we grew up with. You know, I think of shows that I really enjoyed growing up, oh man, like shows like Clone High and like Mission Hill and Ugly Americans. These are like old shows from like 2000s, and most people, I'm like dating myself, but man, like, yeah, again, having the inspiration is like totally cool. Just to be able to take that and kind of be like, how can I kind of add a spiritual niche to this? Real quick, I just want to be able to mention, yo, Obvious, if you want to be able to join in the broadcast, last chance, dude. Like, we're almost done here, and I feel if you're gonna join in, we might end up talking for a little bit more. But the link for the Zoom call is in the Discord chat. So Obvious is like tuned in on TikTok right now. Go to the Discord, find the link there if you want to jump in. You got like a few more minutes. But yeah,
I did have one other idea for the new dance that is out. You know that dance that goes from here up, and then you do like a body roll, right?
Yeah, that's like this. Yeah, that's been around for a while, right? That's like the TikTok dance.
Yeah, like if people want to do that in the spiritual community, I was thinking like, because it has 3 segments. So what if you're an adult and you're a light worker, why don't you do like the first one, you know, and then make a list of like how you started experiencing spiritual stuff, maybe as a kid, if you had those experiences. Like for me, it was like shadow beings, you know, seeing dead people. And so it's like, okay. And then you do the next one. It's like, well, how did you experience as a teenager? You know, you're like being an empath, you know, starting to see auras. And then you're like, oh, then the last one, you put both hands up and like, how'd you experience as an adult? Like talking to aliens, you know, connecting with other light workers. You know, it's just like something funny, and, you know, get people thinking like, what, you had those experiences? And it's doing it in a fun way to get them question, well, oh, I had something similar. Is that what a spiritual awakening is? And so
no, that's good. And again, even just kind of being able to talk about our direct experiences is so powerful, because again, I think so many people have had variations of spiritual experiences, but either they just kind of like disregarded them, they just kind of like put them off to the side, they were told, you know, that's your imagination and things like that. So yeah, I think it's so beautiful to just be able to see so many people like openly being able to express and communicate, and it's really, really cool. Like, yeah, like I even want to make a video soon about like UFOs and aliens and stuff like that, and I'm actually gonna like talk about like my UFO sighting that I had from like back in the day, and just be like, because I know that would be hype. People would be like, what, like you actually saw a UFO? And like, oh, believe me, I saw a UFO, but I'll tell you about it. But actually, I'll give you guys like a little bit of a preview where like I want to make again like more of those videos where it's like me interacting with myself, and I was gonna do one where it would be like me like coming in, and I would be like, and spoiler alert, or you can just like flash forward and pretend you're surprised by this once I actually make it. I may not make it, I don't know, I have to decide, I'm still meditating on it. But anyways, what I was gonna do is gonna be something where it'd be like me coming in and be like, hey man, like have you heard the news? And be like, what, and be like, it's finally normal to talk about aliens. And be like, oh my god, are you serious? And be like, yeah, they're talking about it on the news right now. And be like, wait, like wasn't it always normal? Be like, no man, it was just normal between us and our friends. You mean the rest of the world wasn't talking about aliens yet? I'd be like, no, but now they are. Oh my god, this changes everything. Like, I don't know, I haven't written the script yet, but it'd be something like that.
Yeah,
something like that, something playful.
I'd totally be a cheerleader and like send that with all of my friends. So people need to normalize that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, oh man, it's actually like really like, yeah, I mean, this is a whole nother conversation in itself, but yeah, we should get ready for like being kind of like, again, kind of using our foresight to see like where's the future moving towards right now. And I think one of those things is going to be more of like the normalization of UFOs and aliens. Like that's actually going to start happening like probably within the next few months and stuff like that. So for us, we can start playing with that. And that's where like I even wanted to be able to do some like playing with filters, where one thing I was going to do, I was actually going to like interview myself like as an alien using like a face filter type thing. This whole idea that I actually have, that originally I was going to make for like just YouTube, but I'll probably end up just making it for TikTok content, is basically this concept called Totally Woke News. And it would just be like hello, welcome back to Totally Woke News. Today in the shifting consciousness, and we have a special guest interview with an alien. Over to you. And then it'll be like, I'm an alien, like peace and love. I don't know. I haven't written it out yet, but it would be like really cool produced, and it would be like with like face filters and funny voices, and it would basically be like a sketch comedy. Again, you know, like I go back to that one of the best pieces of advice. I think it was might have been Walt Whitman who said this, but basically he said like, if you're going to tell people the truth, make them laugh, or else they will kill you. So it's just like very blunt, but good point, you know? So it's just like, yeah, if we're going to do that, it's like, oh, we're talking to people about like spiritual dimensions and higher consciousness and past lives and reincarnation, and be like, okay, let's try and do it in a way where it's kind of like half, like, you know, like very lighthearted, and they're just like, wait,
Yeah.
like, was that serious? Like, am I allowed to be like, you know? So it gets them
If you
curious
got them
and
to
stuff.
question, you're already halfway in.
You're halfway there, right? It's like, if you're questioning your reality, you're halfway there. So yeah, cool, awesome. All right, so with that said, I don't think Obvious is going to be joining, but again, we gave some shout outs to him earlier in the broadcast, so I think we're going to wrap this up because obviously we need to rest. We get into this mode where it's just like, we could just keep going forever, but we have to
That's
rest.
the story of my life. But you're right.
Yeah,
I need
I
food,
know,
so.
right? Yeah, exactly. Food. I forgot about that. Good point, right? Simple
Well,
reminders.
I'm in
Drink
Thailand,
water.
so it's like almost noon here.
Yeah, you're pretty good. So cool. All right, cool. Well, for anybody who's in the YouTube chat, if you guys just want to leave some comments of gratitude in the YouTube chat, please feel free to do that. I don't think there are any specific questions about TikTok creation per se, but again, please feel free to just keep engaged. Join our team chat. The link for that is in the YouTube info, so you can check that out there. For those of you still tuned in on TikTok, the link for the team chat is in my profile link as well. And yeah, we're going to be doing more of these broadcasts. I'm still kind of figuring out my flexibility. I may kind of do some more broadcasts during the week where it's like literally just like kind of what I was doing earlier, just kind of like browsing through TikTok creators and just seeing what's up. And then again, having more broadcasts where we got more creators on air, and it won't always just be specific to TikTok because there's some of us who aren't on TikTok yet. So I want to be able to like make sure that all the leading members are involved in a way that again is getting everybody equal airtime and everything. Next week, I'll have to meditate on this, but it might be Dream Class, and that's again our broadcast where we specifically talk about dreams, lucid dreaming, astral projection, dream stories. Marbella, if you're around for that, I'm sure you would have some things that you'd be able to share there. Yeah, and yeah, so again, just kind of wrapping up this broadcast. Again, I just want to invite everybody to follow me on TikTok at Mystic Spider-Man, plus the other featured creators that we mentioned here in the broadcast. You can find the links for them in the YouTube chat, but I'll post Marabella's links and Kevin's link into the YouTube info as well. And again, feel free to check out more at ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Make sure you're subscribed, click that bell notification, etc., etc. Feel free to send me direct messages of gratitude on Instagram if you want to reach out to me there. If you again are in a position financially where you want to support on Patreon, please feel free to do that, and even check out the item shop where you can get our Light Guardian crystals and our shirts and our buttons and everything. And yeah, just taking a moment here, I'll pass it back to Marbella in a second. Just taking a moment here to really just like finish it off with some gratitude. So thank you deeply to everyone tuned into this, for your support, for you just being here, for you being in the chat, for you listening in the future, for you liking and following our content online, for you like creating what you're doing, for you being who you are. It is all seen and it is all greatly and deeply appreciated. So thank you again everyone for being here, and as always, it's been an absolute joy. So Marbella, pass it over to you. Any just closing gratitude you want to finish with?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you as well to everyone watching here and just vibing out with us. I loved having Kevin here, just mixing all the energy with both of us. It's one of my favorite things to do, connecting, collaborating, and sharing energy. So thank you all to our watching.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right, everyone. So again, stay tuned for more updates. If you guys really want me to do some like more freestyle, just kind of like TikTok related broadcasts during the week, it's possible I may be able to do that. Again, obviously I'm already broadcasting 6 times a week, if not more, but hey, it's I enjoy doing it, and I'll do my best to be able to do what we can. But again, there's a lot going on. Reminder, if you're tuned into this live, be sure to join in for our team meditation tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It's a special Friday meditation where we like really focus our intention into the grid to send it out. Again, just thank you to those of you expressing your gratitude in the chats. Thank you, Fascinating Fairy. Fascinating Fairy is also on TikTok. Thank you, Fascinating Fairy, saying you are awesome. Thank you for leaving your comments. One Love Free, who we mentioned earlier, says thank you all for your light. Love you both. Love what you bring out to the world. Hold so much gratitude. Stella saying thank you. Shell expressing gratitude as well. Ashley here as well. Thank you again to Kevin. Thank you again to everyone in the chat, Iris, and anybody else who I didn't mention right off the bat. So again, with that said, let's just take a moment here, just kind of connect with our hearts, just take a breath here. We'll just kind of like finish it off in a very calm, gentle way, and we'll just take a moment here to breathe. Everyone breathe together. And we're just going to basically connect together in a moment of oneness. That's what I like to call it. So just take a moment here to just kind of breathe. I'm just going to stop talking. Just take a few more breaths. Beautiful. Awesome. Gently, when you're ready, bring your awareness back to the space around you. And yeah, just sending everyone so much love. And simply by watching this broadcast, may you carry this inspiration further with you out into your day, your relationships, the art you create, the work that you're doing for yourself, for the world. So beautiful. On behalf of myself, all the other leading members, Light Guardians, Shifters, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, keep it shifty. Much love. And we will see you in the future. Marbella, go ahead, join me in making some noise and send some love out to all the people who are tuned into this broadcast. Make some noise. Beautiful. All right, thanks again, team. Much love. See you soon. All right, I'm just... Special thank you to Danny Leonardo, whose music is featured at the beginning and end of this broadcast. Be sure to check out more of Danny's work in the YouTube info. Thank you, Danny.